presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL,
Welcome back, everyone, to more ESL Challenger League action. It is me, and it is Matt, otherwise known as Hayes, alongside me this evening. Oh, it's Hayes and Hayes, look, Matt. Now, look, if there's one thing I can confirm, is that maybe the world having a second Hayes might be a little bit too much. But look at that. Fixed within 5 seconds. That is how on point our beautiful production is. Thank you, Thaddeus, and thank you, everyone behind the scenes. Mana and Heroic Academy is our game tonight, Matt. We usually frequent the South American region. We're hopping over to EU this evening. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be cool to kind of check in with EU. I think it's my only EU game for Season 51, if I'm not mistaken. So it's nice to just kind of dip my toes in the water, join in for a cup here. Obviously pretty late in the bracket as well. We've made a lot of progress through Cup 3 so far. So it's cool to just check in and see where things are at.
Yeah, of course, prize pool, we know what we're fighting for. I think at this sort of level, the smaller teams that are in play in Cup 3 of ESL Challenger League, I mean, this sort of prize pool might not mean much to some of the bigger teams in the scene, but teams at this level, it will mean something to them. Definitely very important. And of course, getting through to that regional final is incredibly important as well, to possibly at some point, if you're lucky enough, get that chance at ESL Pro League. So look at how the bracket stands at the moment. Mana, of course, have been playing pretty well over the course of the season. They've actually been looking pretty okay. But they did eventually meet their match against Johnny Speeds, which was to be expected, to be fair. I mean, you know, Johnny Speeds are probably the favourites for the entire cup here in Cup 3. So Mana will find themselves in the lower bracket. And Heroic Academy, they've actually had some pretty respectable results in recent times. So they could prove to be a big test today.
Yeah, I mean, it's an academy team that hasn't really been on my radar yet, and I think that probably would start to be the case now with the progress that they're making. Like you said, with some of the sculpts they're taking, they overhauled their academy team pretty recently, right? And I think that they signaled that they want to create a pretty clear and direct path from their academy to their main team, which has got to be a massive motivator for all the players on their academy team to think, okay, well, I mean, maybe there's a realistic chance where if we perform well enough here that maybe one of us could actually make it up in the main team.
Indeed, right? I mean, it's definitely a possibility for if someone can really sharp and deliver. And as you can see, that is where Mana and Heroic Academy currently reside in that lower bracket. Winner plays Unity or G2's Academy. So, you know, there's some Academy battles going on there. Almost feels like we play Academy League from days gone by. We kind of missed that tournament with how many incredible players came from that era of play. But yeah, lots of academy teams playing at this level. And the Heroic Academy, the one thing that I think everyone has kind of got on their mind when it comes to them right now is that they did play a LAN recently at Rogue Journey, and they got a 2-0 win against M80 on LAN. Now, look, that's nothing to sniff at.
I mean, it's an amazing result, right? It's especially since you've seen what M80 have done since then at the Draculan, where they went on to win that entire tournament. So it's not like M80 are in poor form or anything like that. That's a legitimate victory, not in the best of one either. As you highlight, a 2-0 and a BO3. Both maps went the distance as well. They were super close, which even makes it more impressive that they were able to keep their composure together when the game was really hotly contested and still get it across the line.
I think today there is one unfortunate elephant in the room part we might need to mention about the Heroic Academy team. Is because they played brilliantly, sure, at Rogue Journey to get that win over M80 that we discussed. Now, unfortunately, we're in a position where I believe they're not playing with their full team tonight. Hadina, who is a player from Slovakia, he's not on the roster for tonight. They'll be playing with Dotto, their coach. And if you remember, Dotto is a player that is now coach, obviously, but is a player that has been very, very well known in the kind of old days, maybe even 8 years ago, playing in the Finnish scene for the likes of when Ents were coming through early on in their progression when they had one of their good teams. teams, right? I think when they first got Spinks and Snappy, if I remember correctly. That
was
might
like
have been
4
on that
years
team.
ago, actually.
That was that team, but like he first started playing, I think, like 8 years ago.
Sure,
so
yeah.
You are right. That is the one team that he might be most known for, but he mentioned, a couple of years ago that he preferred to coach. He is now coaching, but tonight he's playing.
Thing is, he's actually played quite a few games for Heroic Academy lately, so at least it's not like a super rare occasion here where he's going to have to actually be on the server alongside the lads. He seems to do all right. He can still hold his own. I mean, he was always a really decent mechanical player, but I think his best attribute was like his game sense, his understanding for the game, his decision making, his leadership attributes as well. So he'll add a lot of value in that regard, being in the server. And he's no slouch, is what I'm saying. It's not like with some coaches where they stand in and obviously they barely know which way of the mouse to hold. Dotto will be okay tonight, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was actually one the other day that was a pretty cool one as well. I think I was watching one of the Rustic games and Sanji stood in. So, only one map.
Drop a Mac 10.
It was at, well,
with the Glock.
I mean, yeah, that could be one way of going about things for him at this point in his career. But some players you see pop up all over again, and you're like, oh yeah, I used to play and play at a pretty decent level. Anyway, there were, of course, Heroic Academy's results. We're talking about the one against M80. That's not one of the most recent results, unfortunately, for them. They did eventually get eliminated, of course, from that tournament, which is to be expected. But they did get a couple of wins since then, as you can see. In ECL, they beat TNT, a team we covered recently, actually, in the ECA finals. They beat Clutchain, which is the new team that the old Imperial Valkyries players are now on, the new organisation. They beat Minlate, who are a team that is now disbanded, funnily enough, and Little Mix about a week ago. So, not bad results, but I think tonight will be a little bit more difficult for them because Mana, as we have a chance to talk about them now, are a team that, kind of in history has been... There are some well-known pieces on the Mana side, right? You got Ceneri, who is so, playing at the top of Tier 1 and playing in all the majors with Bad News Eagles for so long. But the other four are more known for lower tier, Kosovian Counter-Strike, playing in Tier 3 and only really playing maybe the IESF and national team type tournaments, right? But I've watched a bit of Kaylee and Amar recently. They are great.
Yeah, I feel like they've got a pretty strong rifling core. Obviously, Ceneri's going to be AWPing here for the team as he was in those like Bad News Eagles squads and the what was that? Was the org owned by like David Beckham? He didn't actually. The Guild Eagles.
Guild Eagles was with David Beckham.
Right?
Yeah,
he
was
a part of that as well, right? Anyway, I feel like that rifling core of Bedard, Kaylee, and Amar actually hit pretty hard. They pack quite a punch, and at this sort of a level is where they can actually really take over a game and show some of their best of their ability. I reckon if they took a step up and played like a top tier 2 team, then maybe they might be exposed a bit more. But against Heroic Academy, especially with the stand-in, they could take over.
Yeah, and I think overall, like Ceneri, he might be, you could argue maybe a bit past his prime now. He's not really good enough for Tier 1 anymore. I think that's totally understandable. I think maybe he'd even agree with you. But look, he's still playing pretty well at this sort of tier of CS, and actually is a really important factor for this roster when you've got Bledard on the AWP playing well, and as we've said, Kaylee and Amar looking pretty solid too. Amar was definitely very solid in the one game I've covered of Mana so far. Here is a veto. Anubis banned out by Heroic Academy, Overpass banned out by Mana. That is not entirely unexpected. These are the two maps that neither of these two teams really play or like or a whole lot. So we're going to focus on some of their strengths. Ancient coming in for Heroic Academy. They use that map to good effect in some of their games recently. And Dust 2 coming in for Mana. That is kind of their main one they like to go to. That is, I think, their second most played map and one of their most picked map, one of the best win rates on it. But the problem is, they're playing to their strength. Unfortunately, that's also Heroic Academy's strength.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one of those situations where they probably back themselves as the favorites coming into this particular series, so they're not too concerned about playing into their opponent's strengths as much as playing into their own as well. They'd rather, I guess, stick to their own comfortability than trying to avoid their opponent's strengths. But like you said, it does bode super well for Heroic Academy that they pick their most picked map of Ancient, and then their second most picked map of Dust 2 gets picked for them. And then Mirage is the decider. Guess what? That is the almost third most picked map for Heroic Academy. Both teams actually getting their top 3 most picked maps coming into the series means we're going to have a very comfortable map pool across the board in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And also, we have to remember that Mirage is the map that Heroic Academy managed to beat M80 on in map 2 to win the series 2-0. And they had an 8-round T-half. closing it out with 8-3 in the end. So yeah, that shows you the level that they've got there if we do end up on that decider. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one today because, of course, Heroic Academy playing with Doto, that's not their full team that they've had recently. Because of that reason, I would favour Mana ever so slightly. But we know what this Heroic Academy team have got in their locker, even if they don't have their full team. I mean, unfortunately, of course, Hedina was a very important part of that Heroic Academy team that beat M80. But Holy and Stomach and Yogi, they've been looking pretty good recently. So, no, I'm not going to count them out at all. Doto is not like, as you said earlier, not like someone who hasn't picked up a mouse and keyboard in forever. He will still have like good impact, with his head, not necessarily with his hand. We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, I think that Mana just are the favourites coming into this one. Like you say, Heroic Academy have had good results though. I mean, that win over M80 certainly their best result, but beating a team like Minlate as well, pretty decent for them. They've been Little Mix, they beat TNT as well, which is the Russian squad that you and I saw in that DSCA Season 56 finals, who put up a really good fight against Quentry. And then as for Mana, a couple wins over Rustic, they beat Leo as well a week ago, they beat that Rottweilers, Bulgarian team which has got like Ships on the squad, and
Red
Star, Han as well, so a lot of recognizable names. Heroic Academy have been playing quite a lot lately, but they have only played like for the past 3 months with this team, right? So it's still a fairly new project.
Yeah, I think the core has been around for a little bit longer, but when it's this exact team, as you say, it's actually not that long at all. And obviously when you're an academy team of a relatively well-known organisation, it can be pretty exciting for these young players to get an opportunity on said team, because obviously they'll be thinking about, oh my goodness, if I play really well, they might consider me for the main team. Exciting. But you've got to temper those sort of feelings and try and put the best level you can on the server day by day, and not think about the future in any fashion like that. So let's see how it goes for Heroic. Of course, you actually had a chance to go over to the HQ at some point, I think, didn't you, in Norway? I
did indeed, yeah. I actually got to join their end of season party, which is really cool. I had an Mr. Sneaky Beaky, Tom, our good friend. He hooked me up with an invite, and they're a lovely group of people. They're really hardworking, super friendly, and they gave me a hoodie, so I'm kind of inclined to say nice things, maybe a little bit biased, but it honestly was very cool.
Yeah, look, we're not going to completely forgive them if they look like they're playing terrible today. Look, we'll say it how it is, but we are allowed to mention that's for sure. Anyway.
I'll leave that to you, Trav. I want another hoodie if I see them again.
No, you don't. Don't cluster your keyboard. Keyboard? Cupboard. Oh, dear.
There we go.
Sceneri holding from Temple. I was literally looking at my keyboard as I said that, so it made me say keyboard. Classic how the brain works, isn't it? Amal will get that little bit of damage, but unfortunately doesn't get any frags, and Dotto will actually run him over. It's the coach stand-in to begin the game here for Heroic Academy, and they're going to try and press the issue a little bit further. Stomach will find Serba through the smoke, and a great tap from Stomach on Bledard. So Neri is still alive with that smoke kit, but he needs to activate, and now he's all alone with 3 players to find. He knows his only chance really is to try and get into that smoke with his defuse kit. But I don't think Heroic Academy are going to let him make much progress here at all. And he's trying to lure out some players, but none of them are really facing him. Sneaks forward, out of bullets, and Wachek will get it done.
Everything goes according to plan for Heroic Academy. Like you say, open and kill successful, able to get the plant without much of a fuss. Stomac deep in towards the say bomb site as well. Dismantles the stack by getting the kill on the player on top, and then some clean mechanics from him afterwards. Just absolutely puts the nail in the coffin with his triple. It's just a formality from there. Of course, Stomac is the one guy from the Heroic Academy team who has been on the books for a long time. I mean, Doto has too, right? He was coaching the previous Heroic Academy squad as well that had like Amber, Deng Zhui, Scrob, and FNL. FNL went to play on for with Nexus, then overhauled that team, and then brought in the rest of the players that we've been talking about. But you can see why they've kept Stomac. It's pretty evident why they decided, like, yeah, maybe this is one guy we should hold on to, even if we're going to overhaul the team.
Yeah, exactly. I think Stomac has been a great player, and I think he's stood in once for the main team. Am I right in saying that? Maybe I'm forgetting. But
off the top of my mind, I think it was Scrob, no?
Yes, maybe actually you are right. It was Grob, I think, from the old team that did stand in, I think, for the main heroic roster. I think you are correct on that one. But yeah, I think you are also correct in saying about how decent Stomach is in general. So there is a reason why they've kept hold of him, and they're taking this anti-eco pretty calmly here, even though they kind of realise now they're only up against USPs. They're not going for anything too ridiculous. They're being diligent, as they so should. They'll force their way in to find their second round comfortably.
Yeah, good way to get things going here on their map pick. No fuss on the anti-eco. Gun round upon us. Man are looking to try and get their weapons in play as soon as possible. So it's going to be the eco in the second, into the purchase in the third. M4s across the board, and a decent amount of utility here. Certainly not going to be an AWP. I did slip up in the pregame, by the way, and say Scenario was the AWP, which obviously was GXX. It's been a while since I saw the Bad News Eagles, boys. I mean, the AWP was never really like the most exciting part of that team. It was obviously like Synopsy and One Flatro, even Rigon as well was the riflers and the leadership. I think that really got the that team on the map. But yeah, Scenario was almost like part of the engine work of the rifling core within that team. So you'll be bringing a lot of experience into the squad, like you highlighted in the pregame. And then set up here into Jag, and the bullets going through walls, but not many connecting.
Molotov will connect though. Serber's down to 11 HP off the back of all of that. Managed to keep himself alive, but how much say can he have in the round from here? Molotov into back donut for Hurley to feel safer about pushing up in toward red. So now he's now going to reposition to try and have some sort of effect in front of that molly, actually, which could catch them off guard if they're not aware of that possibility. And now Serber and Amar are going to push together to have a look from red and retake middle. But Scenari's gone down. That trio of sort of pincer from Donut and red is already lost a bit of a fork. And with Serber at 11 HP, that fork is getting a bit blunter by the second.
That's a great way for Heroic Academy to really try and pile on the pressure if they can win this gun round as well. Holy could hear the backpedaling from Amar, and he knows he's got him trapped in the corner. Trapped in the corner. It's Serber, not Amar. And that frag is going to lead them to make a move in towards the safe bomb site. Surely they're going to completely clear out Donut before they commit in. It is Stomac who's tasked with sweeping through the back lines. Kaylee will get that kill, but only that frag. Bledod gets one back, but it's not really going to be changing the state of the round all that much, especially with them being low on health. So Heroic Academy successfully go 3 for 3.
Yeah, if they can get away from the bomb in time, they're going to keep 3 players alive as well, which is imperative for the opening gun round, or the proper opening gun round for them, even though there are 2-0 in front. That's what you need in these sort of circumstances. So far, an impressive start. Every single mana player on 1 kill.
Yeah, solid performance across the board. Like I say, everybody contributing and chiming in. And looking pretty good. Some good game plans in these rounds. I mean, pretty simple so far, but I like the pivot there and towards the A-bomb side after they get Holy in towards the top of middle. That's kind of what then allows him to start to take some shape and shift themselves into that A-bomb site. Man are now going to have to lightly invest. Upgraded pistols and that saved M4 for them to work with. So a decent amount of firepower coming into this round here. Heroic Academy certainly can't coast like they were able to in the second round with that anti-eco.
Yeah, deep nade. Will allow Scenario to push up a little bit, but he's mostly focused on trying to keep Kaylee with him and playing off his contact. Deep flash will come through. He is close, and Amar's about to press the issue with their flash, and it works out brilliantly to find him. Serber actually had a really good timing on that one, but now his Deeg has been spotted out. It's a bit of a bait, though. Might not check Scenario on that left corner, and they absolutely don't, and in the end, technically, he gets 1 kill from it, but Somax found 3, including his teammate, and that will allow a 3v2 to take the A-bomb site.
Yeah, it's really well done there. Like you say, should cost him his teammate's life, but again, they're so quickly able to just pull the trigger on making a decision, and then everybody seemingly on the same page. Muciek. How's he been able to find that kill there while moving? Katie knows Muciek is in this corner here, but yeah, it's just Intel trying to get the kill, a whole different challenge altogether. And just confirm for me, Trav, are we going with like Maciek here? I mean, I think that makes sense, right?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to get exactly right. I'm going to like Muciek.
From Poland, Muciek. Yeah, but I think it is the ch sound, I guess, is what I'm getting at more than anything else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what we do know for a fact is that this has been a great start for Heroic Academy. They built up a decent amount of money. I did like the game plan from Man at the start of the round. You could tell they came into that round with some sort of a plan, being on weaker weapons. They recognized they had to be proactive and take initiative with the flash play into Speedway. Unfortunately, Heroic Academy didn't really get caught off guard. Now we enter territory where Mana will really start to feel the heat and pressure if they lose this gun round.
Playing a very calm default to begin the round. Leonardo's trained in on Holy if he wants to have a little jiggle out middle. Now utility will come in. It is on that minute mark. Clearly a predetermined thought process before the beginning of the round. They're going to do it at that exact point. Bomb goes first, which gives Scenario the opportunity to drop Doto to the floor with that bomb, but stomach! See you later, Bledard. There goes Amar. That is sharp. And at the moment, very clearly, Heroic Academy are just shooting Mana out of the server.
Yeah, there's a storm on the server, and Stomax having a thunderous performance, and there isn't even a chance for Mana to rebuttal. They try and find a way back in before Heroic Academy get full control by poking back through Temple, but they've been sent to meet their maker. Heroic Academy, they've pitched up to play. Also, I love that Dotto's going in first here, just like enabling the youngsters around him, setting them up, getting the info, allowing for himself to be traded, clearly recognizing the best way for him to also find impact here is by, like I say, enabling the players around him. And Heroic Academy are just off to a blistering start here on Ancient.
They're really enjoying themselves at the moment. Now, we did kind of favour Mana coming in, and not even really mainly because Doto is standing in. We know that he's obviously been a good player in times gone by, but it's mainly the fact that Mana have had some pretty good results in the last couple of weeks. Sure, Heroic Academy beating M80 is amazing, but yeah, I just had a slight feeling Mana would look a little bit better than this coming in early on Ancient here.
Also been a team for a lot longer. They've played a lot of maps together as well, so there's a lot of history in and amongst these players. That's the bomb that's going to be found out, but Maciek is at least in a good position here to deny Mana being able to get across and actually get a bit of a stronghold on the C4. Haley forced backwards, and look at this from Heroic Academy. They decide we're just not going to respect the pistol. We don't need to be scared of him. Really good utility usage is going to force him back into cave as well. Heroic Academy assume full control. Serber will rotate across, but it's a very unlikely retake now. At least they are going to be able to scoop up a couple of guns, right? Because there's an AK outside of Jag and then one in the doors here as well. Double flank about to take effect.
Yeah, they're not very ready for this yet. Thankfully, Holy was watching the angle already, and he does have a bit of a shadow advantage playing in that corner with that creep up from Kaylee. So there's bait in Serber, but they do check it, and Serber just can't track Holy at all as he strafes across his screen. Fair enough, that is hard to aim at, but didn't even hit a bullet. Holy up to 5-2, 6-0 for Heroic Academy. Loving it at the moment.
Yeah, they really have gotten off to a fantastic start here, and like you say, loving life. And I love this, a pacey play in towards the B bomb site being set up here by Heroic Academy. I think it's one play into the bottom of middle. It's Muciek with the AWP posted. He can't connect on the shot, but Dotto will find Serber trying to force his way through that cave smoke. They don't expect Amar in the corner. It will be good for a kill and a dink, but trades are fantastic as they have been from the start of this map. They have not missed a beat. Bladard can't cross successfully, and Heroic Academy are on course for 7-7.
Beautiful. Really diligent. No mistakes at the moment. Mistake-free Counter-Strike. Scenario 1v3. Not even going for it. Just trying to save. And yeah, as we were saying earlier, they're kind of just being destroyed at the moment. That's the third siren that's gone past my house in the last 5 minutes. Maybe they're on the lookout for mana.
Yeah, because they're certainly not on the server right now, but probably shouldn't be looking in London either, to be fair. Oh, God. I just think it's such a good call out of Heroic Academy as well, with the way that they've been playing on the T side so far. They've kind of haven't really committed to things from spawn, and when they have, they've still almost always kept their options open. They recognize the importance of this round for the CT side to really try and find a way into the game, and they just go for that brute force approach, just charging into the B-bomb side, trades on the money and mana without much of it.
A dominating start to Ancient and this entire series as a whole. Doto will be thinking to himself, well, this is easy. Hasn't been that long since he's played, obviously. He has been occasionally frequenting the server for tournaments like this in ECL. I believe he's played quite a few of the ECL Cup games this season. Maybe it's due to roster rules or something, but
yeah.
As I said, they did play with Hedina at the LAN and ROG Journey, so maybe that's the case. Zaneri will hold on for one, but Stomach and Yogi will again keep trading successfully. And the other 3-5-7s aren't really in position to help out. 2v4. And they're both just wandering around in middle looking for some exit kills. It's going to be 8. And Heroic Academy are just not letting up with their pace on B. They know they're just better than them right now.
I just love the double pump call as well. Honestly, this is just brilliant calling. I'm really, really impressed to see the high level of the IGLing and the calling coming through from Heroic Academy. And then on top of that, the next thing that's been absolutely perfect has been their utility usage, their flashes, mollies, even the HE behind the pillar. And then you combine that with their trading and their spacing. This team is super well drilled, Trav. This team is extremely well drilled for an Academy squad. I'm really impressed. It's the first time I'm getting a look at this Heroic Academy team.
Yeah. And
I'm extremely impressed, honestly.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, look, we could be catching them on a great day, but we know they've got this level available to them after the results they've managed to glean in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, it's not just their individual ability, it's the fact that their spacing is really good, their trading is really good, they're not letting mana get any chances in any of these rounds, really. I mean, joking aside, has the closest round been the pistol? Where Scenario had like a 1v3, and that wasn't even close at all. Like, there's been a complete demolition job right now.
That's a pretty damning, not really like statistic, but point, right? Maybe here, Trav, maybe this is the round where they can try and derail Heroic Academy's momentum and then try and make something happen to a degree. 8-0. I mean, the best they could do is 8-4 from here, and the sign of that happening, well, we haven't really seen any signs that would be a possibility. Heroic Academy go back to more of a default-esque approach. They get mid-control, try and manipulate the defense a little bit, and then set themselves up for a B exec.
The utility will be swapped over from Doto to a teammate. Holy will now use it to smoke red. Haley could have perhaps seen him there if he was watching towards Shelf, but he's having to make sure Red Room was clear in its entirety first. Can Bledard get into the game? There we go. Bit of initiative taking. Sees the Molotov being thrown in toward Donut. Peeks ahead of it. Peeks before he's blocked off in any way. We'll find the opening kill on Holy. Serber uses his one of his magazines on spraying that ramp smoke. Can't use too many of those now with that A1S. They're going to flash their way through again. It's a delayed take of B compared to what we saw earlier, and Serba can't hold on. Rotate in here is pretty quick. They have got the smokes up, however, and Doto's cleared Amar. And again, even though this time they were a man down, they found a way to break through. It's a nice kill from Bledard, and Doto is low. This is one of the few rounds that Mana have got a chance to recover, because, as you can see, Mushek is not checking toward his left. Thankfully, Yogi is there to trade again immediately, but now Bledard, with this kit, he's got the most winnable round that Mana have had in this game so far, but Doto on the headshot angle on low HP gets his 7th kill of the game. Wow, demolition.
Like you say, finally it felt like we would see a bit of a crack created in the Heroic Academy T side. Mana 4 versus 5, barely any time for Heroic Academy, but they still find a way to navigate the round, get onto that B bomb site. Again, just extremely good utility usage. The flashes were on point, never really blinding up their teammates with the flashes that are being thrown. So many Mana players being blinded. Just really good kills as well. It's like, that was a round that you couldn't just rely on great IGLing, which is what they have been. You couldn't just rely on fantastic trading or spacing. You couldn't only rely on good util usage. That came on later into that post-site take hit. It was actually like, that was the raw mechanical ability. That was the what got them across the line there. It was just like some big swings and heads-up jewels going Heroic Academy's ways. So it's just really cool to see that they're even able to flex their muscles in that department to win these rounds as well.
Yeah, I don't blame them, right? Because that has been working for them pretty much the entire game so far. So you may think to yourself, look, we're in a bit of a tight squeeze here. Let's swing them. And they bloody swung them. And they bloody won the round. So, yeah, pretty crazy. 9-0. We've got a bit of a tech in play. Hopefully not going to last too long. But, yeah, right now, Mana are being blown out of the water. And if Heroic walked on the water, it wouldn't fall in.
That's because they got Holy on their team.
Exactly.
I love it. It's just been so damn dominant from them up until this point. Mana going to persist with the buys here because, well, saving would then mean they have to try and battle back from a 10-2 deficit. Assuming they could win those last 2 rounds, and nothing is a given at this point. Not going to be any AWP here either. Or Bledard. How many kills are we talking here? 10, 15, 16 kills across 9 rounds. Not even averaging 2 frags per round at the moment are Mana as a team. Game on the brink of being wrapped up in the first half here for a Heroic Academy.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful performance at the moment. And Mana find a way to, at this point, avoid embarrassment. That's where we're at, I think. I was going to try and change the pace. Change the initiative. But again, it's just not going too well. And with Bled, that feels so rough for him, bro. Like, Bledard's been destroyed right next to him, and then immediately he's like, ah, shit. I'm all alone, and I'm getting jiggle peeked from 3 separate angles. It's literally over for me.
It's just 3 different players trying to fight him at the same time. It's like, where on earth must I place my crosshair? Brain going into overdrive, overload.
Poor guy.
Error 404. They're not an ammo not found on the server. Like you say, trying to change things up here. Recognizing that Heroic Academy haven't really utilized A main all that much throughout the half, so maybe thinking they can make their way through. Kaylee is going to be the next man to progress forward, but Stomac crouched behind the stairs. Oh, if that's not a desk smash for Kaylee, then he's got more impressive emotional control than I do.
Have you had a desk smash in your life before, Matt?
Okay, not in a while, not in a good couple of years. Honestly, probably since my parents started making me pay for my own things. I think they got me like my first few peripherals, and then I'd like break a mouse, and it's like, cool, all good. You can just buy your own now, and then you learn the value of things. That
exactly.
The rage isn't worth it. Isn't worth it. But the worst was just like holding your mouse in your hand and then slamming on the desk, and then I broke like the clicker of the mouse.
Yeah.
You're still in the middle of a pug. And
otherwise
like,
known as doing a Yakindar.
Well, no, because his started working again afterwards, right?
True.
So that was just like such a sinking feeling. And it's just that moment of like, awful regret. It's like, that was not worth it. Now I'm even angrier.
Yeah, I know. I mean, as you may have known from the time that I've spoken to you about, random things during our coverage together, my parents have always done a good job, my mother in particular, at teaching me the value of money. Look after the pennies and the pounds look after themselves. That's the saying.
I like that.
But, yeah, she, as you say, as soon as I start... I mean, to be fair, my entire life I've been very careful with things that I own. Like, for example, I have one of my first ever iPhones, like an iPhone 4 from when I was like, I don't know, in 2011 or 2012, and it's still now in pristine condition in my drawer, just unused for years. So, I'm very good at keeping things safe, but I have had a few desk smashes, I won't lie. Tell you that right now.
Once had a desk like resting on a makeshift leg, and when I hit my desk, the leg came out from underneath my table, and the entire table fell.
Well, there you go.
Nothing broke, but everything did fall off the table. Thankfully, my computer wasn't on the table. Otherwise, that would have been catastrophic.
Yeah, sometimes rage can overtake you, and you can do very silly things. Yeah, it's we've all been there. Okay.
Thinking about players in the past who have been the biggest culprits, Device used to love a monitor punch. Definitely not for the past like 5 years or so. Nico with the table. That was when he lost that 1v5 against Vitality on the B side against Apex. He came so close to making
You're a massive Nico fan, so I knew you'd remember that off by heart.
Oh yeah, I could literally tell you where all 5 kills came through from the spray transfer of Catwalk to Connector. Like the rotation back, he was playing behind broken wall. He should have had that shot on Apex. It's like literally in my mind so clearly. Anyway, you're right. I should be focusing a little bit more on the round here. And so we have got an exec gaining some traction.
Here we go.
It's just pistols. This is the light buy here for the CT side. Scenario not able to get the double. It's a good recovery. There's a really good chance. Blade just tucked into the corner. Holy will wide swing and adjust. What a sick adjustment.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. When that voice goes as high as that, it's a cool kill. Nade into the back of Donut, 5-7 of Cerber is putting the pressure on. And now, again, probably the best opportunity that Man have had in the entire game. And that nade could be decent. Oh, 20 HP. And that might, I'm afraid, not be enough because now Holy can play time. And he'll know in a round such as this, it's very unlikely for the CT side to have a defuse kit. And Cerber is dancing with Holy and Holy is dancing with him. He's living a charmed life right now.
Sickening.
He'll eventually go down, but it's sickening. It's 11-0.
I see why his name is Holy, because this man is blessed, Trav. What a ridiculous round coming through from him. That adjustment there, because he didn't know for a fact that there was a player in the corner. He didn't know Bladod was there, but he was just able to adjust on the fly. What a recovery. Brilliant work there from Heroic Academy. Again, that one should have gotten out of control. But with strong mechanical ability on display, they're able to save the round and remain flawless.
Can they make it happen? It's been a long time since me and you have covered a 12-0, I think. It'll be something. Let's see if they can do it. Amar's going to peek ahead of that smoke, but Doto and Yogi will be able to deliver comfortably. Cerber will get that trade eventually, but now he's pretty much alone. Some flash support, but the kill comes through onto him by Stamak before that flash really did too much damage. I think Stamak had vision. Into the kill feed. Says he was blind, he already saw where Cerber was. Leonard and Kaylee, 2v4. There are some low HPs into play here, and that is a missed shot coming through, but there's a flank to worry about. Okay. It's down to Muchek, he'll miss his shot. So they get a little bit overzealous there, and finally, it's taken 11 rounds in the entire half. They'll get themselves 1. The embarrassment is not a 12-0, but it's still Heroic Academy only 2 away already from map 1. Well, poor old Mana will be wondering what on earth has just hit them. There is not much light at the end of the tunnel, but I think, unfortunately, a train might be about to hit them on that track, because 11-1 is the first half, and they are not long for this world on Ancient, I don't think, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, at least they've kind of avoided a potential 13-0, and it's actually down to the first time in the half that I noticed Heroic Academy not playing with proper discipline, where they were just overfacing and taking duels and not really giving themselves the best chance of winning the round and not really playing to their numbers advantage. So yeah, it was a little bit, but it's complete. I was gonna say a little bit of a letdown, but completely understandable considering Heroic Academy had been so locked in for 11 and a half rounds, but just dropping a little bit at the end there and being punished. Either way, like you say, shouldn't really result in much outside of sparing Mana Splash not losing 13-0.
Exactly. Right, what have you got, Mana? Show us something. Double setup in toward Donut, though. If they go anywhere near that, they could be in a bit of trouble. Flashes are actually pretty decent. It keeps a lot of space for them to work with. They're going to jump through red. And Muchek is trying to hold them at bay and trying to pincer them, and now Amar's been headshot pretty much through his own teammate. That means that Doto can activate, he turns around and gets the kill. It's not even the dualies to get that kill. It's a bit of a ruse because the bomb's being planted on B, but it is a 3v5. Thankfully, a very good deep smoke here. That's going to make a pretty big difference, I think. Serbo's going to find that kill on Holy.
Shot.
They need to trade quickly, and they'll get it. That PT-1000 with that extra magazine. Stomach feeling comfortable with it. Now Ceneri in cave, trying to peek forward. Oh, he can't connect. Finally gets one, but he peeks with Bledard, understandably so, to try and get more presence together, trying to peek with each other. But it doesn't work either. 12-1.
Yeah, that is just some sick mechanics on display there from Heroic Academy, able to also sustain the pressure and kind of figure out an appropriate response, like you say, because of the deep control taken by Heroic Academy with that smoke thrown in the back lines. It means that the space taken by Mana, rather, Heroic Academy realize, okay, we've got to path our way through mid and then go through Jag Cave onto the B bomb site to retake this, instead of just standing around twiddling our thumbs waiting for that smoke to fade. There's a far more proactive approach to the situation, and they figure it out instantly. So again, just fantastic heads-up decision-making, making correct decisions on the fly here. Heroic Academy now have 11. Yes, you heard me correctly. 11 map points.
Pretty incredible performance, and unfortunately, it's these sort of games, right, where you would look at this incredible map of Ancient and say, okay, well, they're going to win map 2 comfortably. Not always the way of thinking. Mana play very well on Dust 2, but this could be the game where it is very good for them on both maps, and it is a very, very clean 2-0, because we know how good Heroic Academy are on D2. It's a Mana strength, but it's a Heroic Academy strength as well, so love to see how that's going to pan out. Holy will peek forward with the MP7. That's a good opening kill. But Amar will get 2 with the Tech 9. Nades come flying in. Samak will get that kill on Ceneri, but that Galil on Serber will manage to find 1. And with Amar on 1 HP, man, I might have a little bit left to say here. Hang on, Muchek's peeking out from the side, though. It's going to be too easy to get 2 kills. Not easy for Stomach, though. There we go, Bledard. They won a clutch.
Alright then, that's an individual moment for Mana. I mean, there really hasn't been much to celebrate throughout this map so far, I'm afraid, for Mana, but that's a moment of individual prowess on display. Looked like with that double from Muchek that they would have put the round away, and I mean, especially with Stomac in that position to try and affect the trade, but they're not able to adjust. Heroic Academy going to force buy back, and now it's like, how long can Mana keep Heroic Academy here on the server?
Yeah, if they can win the force buy war, we might be in one of these situations again where it's a bit of a fake comeback, but we'll get Mana warmed up into the game at least, so they're going to want to try and do their best in these sort of situations. Be doing themselves a disservice to themselves if they don't try their best from here. Oh, made away Mach 10 headshot. That should make things a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, that is going to make it more comfortable, like you say. I mean, a bullet lodged in the head of Ceneri probably not going to be particularly comfortable, but shouldn't matter all that much with Ailey coming through to close the door in on the B bomb site, while Serba will just execute Dotto. Muchek not going to be able to get to the bomb in time. Although, as I say that, I actually thought Serba was immediately going to start to fall back and pick up the bomb. Now, Muchek is inadvertently going to come across the C4. Serba is considering this. Muchek hasn't spotted it, Trav. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Now he's going to be pushing into them. Don't think he even realized that the bomb was right next to him. And Mana will win 2 rounds in a row and reset Heroic Academy's economy.
There we go. Something to shout about. Well, it's a full eco. Something that's also something to shout about. Look, I know in some of these open lands, Matt, that some of these good teams are playing teams that are playing just for fun as friends, right? Who maybe only play at like ESL League level or something like that. Big have just 13-0, 13-1'd a team in Belgrade at the HLC LAN. And BlameF got a 3.11 rating, and Faven didn't die. The entire map won. Crazy,
Trav,
right?
I would love to respond to your point.
Yeah, something's happening, I know.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe Big have done that and Faven hasn't died. That's ridiculous. And okay, it looks like Mana are going to survive the scare against the Eco. Heroic Academy just running at them, but this time they have found the bomb. They found 2 rifles, and Kaylee and Scenario have to try and pick up the pieces. They've got plenty time to work with, but this one is going to be difficult.
If they found a way to win the map from this situation, it would be painful for Mana. They would have loved to, as I said, get some sort of warm-up in the series and recover from here, but now they can play the headshot angles as well, far back. Yogi's playing in the close right. They've got the contact being taken by Muchek and Yugi, and they need to find some damage with the molly, and unfortunately they're going to take another dink. They're walking now into the lion's den, and there is no way out. Kaylee is going to be frustrated here. There's a right-click smoke available, but that doesn't really provide him with any space to work with at all. He can pre-fire his right, but every single bullet is going to miss. Yogi's just sitting there just to say, bro, are you going to hit me yet? He's found the stomach, and it's still not done. But now he's finally going to move forward, and because he didn't get the kill on Yogi on his close right, he might not shoot it again. Kaylee's now stuck in between 2 angles. He'll get the kill, but look where Muchek's run off to. Can he pick up the bomb and get it planted?
Oh, it's going to be so close. I don't think so. Nah, there we go.
He's given up.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know what's worse. Maybe just losing 13-0 or losing 13-3, but the last round is literally a hard anti-eco that's gotten away from you. Like, that's going to be so brutal where they're thinking, okay, boys, we know we're probably not going to make the comeback happen, but let's just get going a little bit. Like you were saying, maybe frustrate Heroic Academy, build up some momentum, feel a little bit better about ourselves, and it's gone.
And it's gone. And that's what you get when you're holy and you have a profile picture of Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. That's when you know they should win this game, when you believe in the GOAT. Kidding aside, it's Heroic Academy 13-3 in complete control. Map 2 could be the same, but it is Mana's pick. We'll see what happens after the break. What do Mana have to show in this series? They got completely cancelled out on Ancient, but now it is their map pick of Dust 2. Issue is, Heroic Academy love playing this map as well. Not as many reps as Mana, but they have pretty good results, only losing 1 in 9. So, 1 in 10 actually, I should say. So, yeah, I'm concerned for Mana's sake that it could be a 2-0.
Yeah, it's a map that they beat M80 on as well, right? So that's certainly going to be a big feather in their cap coming into this one. They beat Hashira's on this map today already, Trav. We know that that's the ex-Kono team. Bird from Sky, Jax, Bermilov on that squad as well. Queenix has joined them recently. There's like a lot of recognizable name value and players that have always been good on Dust. So it's not going to get any easier, as you've been alluding to for Mana. Sure, it's their pick, but it's still an extremely good, if not arguably even better map for Heroic.
Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? If you look at the results for Mana, they are fantastic. They've actually got pretty much exactly the same level as Heroic Academy have in their last however many games, right? Sure, Mana have played double the maps, but the thing is, obviously, is that you have to look at the most recent results, and the most recent ones are a very similar record to Heroic Academy. They've won, let's have a look, against Rebels, Rottweilers, ex-Ruby, that's a really good win, especially 13-4. Leo, Little Mix, TNT, Rustek, the only loss coming up against Rustek in CCT in the last 10 or so. So they've got pretty much exactly the same record as Heroic Academy, just more reps overall. That makes me think we could be in for a great game. I'm not counting them out at all.
Yeah, the only concern is, sure, it's a great record, but it was just how they got demolished on Ancient, right? Is the only kind of like worry right now for Mana going into this next map, is we haven't really seen Mana show up in the series at all. There's like one individual moment from Bledard in the 1v2, but outside of that, it looked extremely weak on that previous map. And again, it's not like Ancients is a map they don't play. They played it 19 times and they've had a fairly decent level of competition on that map as well. So that's what's got me pretty concerned for Mana coming into this next map here. Because Heroic Academy have shown up, they look the part, they mean business. They're firing on all cylinders right now, and Mana are yet to even like turn the key in the engine, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, exactly, and I think as well, there isn't. You have to take into consideration when you look at numbers for teams like this at this level and how many games they've played, like how maybe inflated these percentages can be, but. If you look at Heroic Academy's CT side, they have it 62% on CT and a 54% on T. If you look at Mana, who have played 10 games more on the map, it's 59 on CT, 58 on T. So actually, slightly better on T side and pretty similar on CT. So I'll have to see if that reflects in any way when we get it live into the game. The Fake Knife is live, I believe, so we'll be jumping in very, very shortly. Thank you to Thaddeus for shouting that one out for us, as always. But yeah, I am unsure, because don't forget, Stomac was insane on map 1, and I think at the moment, with the way Heroic Academy were shooting on map 1, it kind of reads to me like they are just in better form today. And if Stomac's going to put in another 2.0 rating of some sort, it's going to be difficult to stop them. Yeah,
because it's not like it's one player who had a crazy game. I mean, sure, it was Stomac who was the chief destroyer on that previous map, but it wasn't the Stomac show entirely for Heroic Academy, right? There was a lot of good teamwork, some fantastic decisions, some really good calls on the T side. The trading was phenomenal. The utility usage was really good. You had Muchik contributing. You had everybody with 10 plus kills. Lowest rating was 1.26. So it's not like, okay, if we can just negate Stomac and kind of limit his impact, then all of a sudden we're on the money, right? Like it's been a well-rounded team performance so far from top to bottom for Heroic Academy.
It has indeed. Let's see what Mana have to show. They are obviously on their map pick starting T side. So they've got Molly, Smoke on Ceneri, Smoke Flash on Bledard. Goto is obviously as the coach stand-in. They play with the utility for Heroic Academy.
Dotto used to be a P2K player, if memory serves. I think he used it back in the Ants days, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe actually, yeah.
Tickle something in the memory there.
Maybe. I definitely, it rings a slight bell. That was definitely the team he was most known for. I know he was kind of on that Havu team before that. After Ents and Havu, with that second stint on the team, he was on Yano, the team with Alu, for quite a while. His last ever official for Ents was against the British version of Fnatic, of all things, by the way. I'll get back to that in a moment, because it's a kind of fun team to remember. Ceneri and Bledard will enter the B-bomb site, and it looks like they're going to start this game a lot better than they did in the previous. So that's going to be a plant, it's going to be comfortable, and really, Heroic Academy here should be saving their Kevlar.
Yeah, I mean, actually just a great call there from Mana to go into the B-bomb site. Heroic Academy had absolutely no idea what was going on, so they just remained committed to the original setup, which was majority of the players over towards the safe bomb site, and yeah, Stomac goes down without getting a single kill. The rotator Dotto not able to find any frags either, so there's just no way back in for Heroic Academy. It's the first time in the series here Mana will have a lead. Just want to limit the losses here. It's really only Amar who's got something to save at this point with his Kevlar, so I guess no reason not to hunt if you're Ceneri and Bledard, and that is a blistering headshot. More of that, please. Doctor orders. Oh god, okay. Muchek cuts Bledard down, so at least some kills coming back for Heroic Academy, but it is going to be the round that goes the way of Mana.
So it looks like the game that I remember that I was talking about earlier. It was in IEM Winter 2021. I think I remember that event quite well because I'm pretty sure I worked the qualifier for that event way back when. It was a Fun plus Phoenix game I think I covered, maybe against Fnatic and Ents and stuff like that. It was Fnatic with Smooya, Brolin, Mezzi, Alex and Crims, and Ents with Hades, Diha, Snappy, Spinks and Dota. Obviously the Ents that then became many different teams in different organisations over time. So yeah, I remember that well. I remember Dota playing at that level too. At that point of his career, I think you can kind of tell he was on a downward spiral at that point. Nice kill from Serba while full blind, by the way. Because like he was already struggling against like those tier 1.5 teams at that point, right? So yeah, it was kind of the latter part of his playing career there.
Yeah, I miss Alex. Alex was a really cool IGL. I feel like if it wasn't for his health issues, it would have absolutely been an IGL who kept up at the tier 1 level of the game. I mean, obviously he was part of that early Vitality team. Famously said that it's not all Zywoo, and that we throw flashes for Zywoo that help set Zywoo up, and that's part of the reason that he gets so many kills. But yeah, probably not like the smartest thing he's ever said. But anyway, I really like him as an IGL anyway. Checking this round here for a second. It was a 4v2. 2 kills back here for Holy and Stomac. And all of a sudden, there's a way in here on the retake. Holy is scooped up in AK. There's a flank being made by Serba, which means Amar is actually isolated at the moment. The longer he can stay alive, though, the more that gives Serba to work with. And Amar will require Serba to finish off the job. And Serba catches Holy as he tries to go back up the ramp. That gets a lot closer than it should have, but Mana will hold on against the force.
Yeah, they're okay. They are okay, but that was a bit tight, as you say, but an awkward one. Yeah, it is funny looking back at that matchup that I mentioned to you, that Doto's last ever game with Ents. Obviously, Hades is still winning events with BetClick these days. Diha's trying his best to make something work with Illwill. Snappy, not doing amazingly with NIP right now, it has to be said, but he's still a big organisation. Spinks is on one of the best teams in the world, with Brolin, funnily enough now, would you believe? And Mezzi is on the best team in the world. So it is it's funny how time changes things. When these players get into the right role and the right team and the right synergy, things seem to click. They won't let up. See how that goes in the future for them, obviously. But here, in the present, that smoke is kind of forcing Mana away a little bit in middle. Going to go for these peaks. So scouts are in play, and Yegi will miss that tag.
Yeah, it's a really important kill back for Mana. They realized there was a heavy commitment from Heroic Academy in towards long, so they immediately shift their focus in towards the B bomb site. Now Holy in middle will get bested by Amar. That's a brilliant second kill coming through from him. Don't count Stomac out though. There's a few tagged up players. Server's gonna go searching. He preempts Stomac in the corner. He does a lot of damage but can't get the kill. Kaylee's low, so he's reluctant to push. Dotto rotating, but they will dispatch of Stomac. And Dotto gets into the B bomb site, but Mana have also read into this. They've preempted this rotation. And so they're going to now reroute their way through middle. Dotto's step's certainly going to get hurt by Amar. And Amar will finish the round off. He's the one who gets a triple kill. As Mana have handled another force by Heroic Academy with having done so much damage in that second round. Decide to persist with the investments, but they're yet to get off the ground.
Yeah, good work from Amar. That's a really good round from him, just to stay calm and put himself in the right positions, especially as the one player that was full HP didn't like hold back or try and play safe because he knew his teammates were tagged. He's the one who took point and went for those particular kills. Well played. And now Bledard. Oh my goodness, so blind all along his Doto. No damage came through, but going to take a crazy kill. It actually is a crazy kill from Holy onto Kaylee. But Mana have played well early game here. Just don't need to make a mistake against the half buy. But he's still fighting, which is definitely a surprise. Trying to duck away. Surely he can't get away from there. I don't know how he has. And eventually there's going to be a big flank round from Spawn to try and do some more damage. But in the end, it all works out. And would you believe Holy's now last alive?
Yeah, well done from Mana to actually contain the situation. These past 3 rounds, I mean, the pistol was never ever in serious jeopardy to actually go against Mana, but these past 3 rounds have all been kind of scary at certain points throughout, but Mana have always been able to actually get it across the line, which is a big improvement from what we saw on Ancient. About to go 4-0. They'd love to not lose any further players in the process here, though, and Snary has his wits about him, and he will finish off the job, so at least a bit of a financial buffer being built up.
Yeah, finally one with a couple of players alive. The majority alive. Definitely helps, that's for sure. Every little helps. Now it's time for Heroic Academy to get started. We check on that AWP. Get up against Bledard. Cross will be held. Now with no shot taken, that might mean Muchek might swing into that angle, especially as that smoke comes through, but no, that means there's a little bit off. It'll now be broken, and that's when Snary works his way through. Bit of a rookie error there from Snary. You've got to expect those nades to be breaking those smokes in middle. It's so common these days.
Yeah, this is an important round for Heroic Academy to actually get things going on their CT side. They chose to start on the defensive half, but hasn't yet yielded a round. Stomac going to kind of get an idea of what's going on with the util that's currently being passed across to the short play. He wants to go searching while he can realize that they're setting up, and it's always going to be tough for him to actually get out of there, but he at least gets a kill before he inevitably goes down. So that man advantage will persist.
Yogi will go back to play on Goose, probably line up that position where he can hold with his teammate. They can peek off each other's contact, and there we go, it's going to come through now. Drop down is very loud, and unfortunately Muchek is going to miss a very important shot. It does make up for it, but will get run down by Amar.
Oh,
in the end, Holy. Oh, there's only a few bullets left in that smoke. And it worked.
Bedard is now in a 1v3. He knows he's got one player isolated in on this B bomb side. He comes so close to actually trading his scope in on Dotto, but he's not going to be able to get the kill. Heroic Academy in the first gun round will get themselves going. Being fairly proactive, taking some initiative, and at least constantly getting kills to chip away at Mana and maintain that advantage. And then, like you say, the peppering of the smoke there from Holy was a big contributing kill as well. With all the damage done in the 4 rounds prior to Heroic Academy getting there first, Means Mana, sure they can justify an investment here, but it's not going to be a fantastic one. They've got the AWP, but a couple of Galils and a Tech 9, and they're pretty light on utility. So this is Heroic Academy's way to actually get back into Dust 2 and start to make this one fairly competitive.
Yeah, let's see if they can build. Holy with the incendiary ready to be blocking off any short pressure. And comes the utility in middle. Smoke to cover off both sides. Often that allows that lurk through the middle of those two smokes, but it's a great nade.
What a combo.
And a combination of the flash from Doto is beautiful.
Yeah, brilliantly done there between the two of them. Now Muchek remains posted on the angle. 40 seconds on the clock. Holy's, I think he's overplayed his hand there by trying to actually scale up the boxes and take the fight. He should have tried to play off the AWP's contact. Muchek gets destroyed on that angle. Bledod with the AWP looking like a live wire. He's going to continue to force these fights. Stomac completely surrounded will go down as well. And Mana giving Heroic Academy a bit of a taste of their own medicine. Some supreme mechanics on display from Mana as they bounce back immediately after losing their first round.
Yeah, the one game I've covered of Mana, some of this was on show. And it's showing up in spades here, headshot upon headshot. The game I covered of Mana's before was against The Last Resort, a UK team, in the Nodwin tournament. And Mana played well there as well, but TLR did get the win in the end to make it 3-0 in groups. So, yeah, I think I saw the best of both those two teams, and the worst, to be fair. It was quite a close three-mapper. Went 13-4, 13-8, 13-9. Progressively closer as the series went on. And Heroic will be looking to try and get progressively closer here, because they're being outplayed right now on D2. We wondered who would break, with both these two teams having such a great record on the map. At the moment, Heroic Academy is struggling to find any progress at all on CT side. They're down to a half buy here. Yogi's got that M4. What kind of setup will they change up? Because they have had decent things in play so far. They have had that nade flash combination. They have had a few little setups that have worked okay, but that one in the previous rounds didn't work out for the round win. And that's what really matters, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Means they're going to have to half buy here. Few pieces for them to work with, but it's Mana in the ascendancy with momentum behind them. A big fight being taken. 3-player spotter burst. It's a lot of valuable intel here for Mana. They're actually going to hang around to take the fights being offered up here by the CT side. Brilliantly done by Katie. He's the one who's found all the kills in the round. Eventually, those Reign of Terrors brought to an end. Stomac, that's so brave to actually go back into the fight. Amon now has the info as to where these final two players are positioned. And Dotto, he's going to give him the duel. It's going to be won by Amar, who now, well, he knew that Stomac was in lowers, but Stomac's on his horse. He is already making his way through T-spawn. AK recovered. He's going to be going the entire way around the world, coming up from long. And then, I was going to say maybe catching Amar, but Amar's decided instead to plant for short. Thought he might plant for long and then try and play from long. Instead, he's going to position himself on the ramp. Now, there's a health advantage here for Amar, but not a massive one. This is doable for Stomac. It's difficult, but doable. Did he spot the gun barrel? Did he spot? I think he may have. Incendiary to try and flush Amar out, but he's got a little bit of breathing room to work with. Stomac scaling forward. Without a kit means time is of the essence. He's going to drop a smoke on the C4, tap that defuse. Amar with his crosshair perfectly placed though will take Stomac down and get Mana up to 6.
And look, I hate to say it about a coach stand-in, but the reason I'm going to say it is because it's a coach stand-in that has all these years of experience. There, what we're watching right there on the replay, why is he fighting alone in mid for no reason when his teammates low HP?
Yeah.
That's
maybe
my
if
question.
Stomac was still in lowers and then he could have been swinging while Dotto was taking the fight, but they just weren't on the same page, right? That was two 1v1s in the 2v1, and you're right. Also just trying to back himself there, but giving up the fight is exactly what Amar would have wanted in that situation. Important round here for Heroic Academy. Losing this one, and it's almost like the game has completely gotten out of control at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And Soneri is continuing to try and make them feel uncomfortable. Tomac could be caught out here because they're trying to phase through that smoke on two separate angles.
Or Dotto.
One on his left, one on his right, and Dotto's got no chance at all. Kelly will break in, 4v3, but bomb site taken. When it's B, on D2, it's round over. They're already saving.
Yeah, Dotto just never expected them to scale forward as quickly as they do there. It's a nice shot. And does that at all motive? No, you can see the decision's already been made. 7-1. Dotto gets completely overrun off the back of Stomac going down the middle. I love how quickly Mana have gone through the motions there once they get that kill on Stomac. Immediately shift into gear, charge into that B-bomb site. All over it like a rash. We could just be going blow for blow with extremely dominant wins on each other's map picks here.
It'd be funny if that is the way it turns out. We said that Mana shouldn't be counted out in any way, knowing that this is a great map for them, even though it's great for Heroic Academy too. It's very, I said to you, it's very, very rare two maps follow the exact same path, unless you're big playing against no-namers today. You know, teams at this level who are competitive, these games don't come easy. So they're forcing the issue, and that extra right-click flash really made a big difference there, I think. Yogi completely blinded up, and everything that Heroic Academy are trying right now is not working.
Yeah, it's almost a carbon copy of the previous. I mean, the first few rounds did feel pretty damn competitive, despite them all going Mana's way. But it feels like as the map goes on here, Mana are just getting better and better, and Heroic Academy are actually struggling to gain any sort of traction.
Tomac trying to make something happen. He was pushing with Holy. As you can see, just trying to make moves. They took initiative all over the map, did Heroic Academy in this round. And I'm afraid none of it worked at all. Now, they can, if they wanted, they could even delay the plant and give them more time to find Muchek, but we've still got a whole, what, 40 seconds to try and remove him from the round, so they're going to be hunting.
Yeah, you're right. Now they know where the AWP is, and they will be able to dispatch of him. Muchek goes down 8-1. What a bounce back from Mana. We were worried about them coming into the second map, considering how good Heroic Academy were throughout the entirety of Ancient. Now we just hadn't seen anything from Mana yet throughout that whole map, but that break has served them well. Just demolishing Heroic Academy here on a map that Heroic Academy are very good on.
Leonard will set himself up early and B. Watch for a possible jump spot of Stomac. Re-smoke, re-flash. No extra pressure from Heroic Academy early round on this occasion.
doesn't look like Heroic Academy are really changing up a whole lot on the CT side, right? It's more like just running these same sort of setups back again and again and hoping something changes. Lovely combo between Scenario and Kaylee to at least affect the trade. Kaylee not expecting that re-aggression out of Stomac, working around the smoke though. And Stomac going to be able to pad up the defense now. Mana haven't yet pulled the trigger on this B take, and that means that the B bomb site's defense has been padded up.
Stomac, you've got to hold on here. If you go down, Dotto will be all alone. It's all about the timing of your peak, and thankfully for him, Dotto does get his one, and so does Stomac. But Bledard, okay, that's 2 quick kills on the trade. Now has an opportunity for a plant, but time is very low. And he is getting rounded on from tunnels. Oh, he did check it at the last second. Imagine if he held it for half a second longer. That would have been crazy. He's now going to get run upon, but hang on. Now he'll go for the kill, surely. But Muchek actually plays very aggressive there. You could have forgiven him just waiting outside the doors and waiting outside the window and letting the round timer expire. But he makes sure to play aggressive and get the frag, and I think he knew that with no time really to fumble the bomb plant over the line, he was probably going to go aggressive. That's exactly what he did, and almost made a funny clutch happen.
I think it's really smart from Muchek as well, Trav, because if he does just stay tucked in behind the wall, there's just enough time there for Bledard, I think, to jump through the window and have like one quick no-scope. And then you've got Pika's advantage on your side if you're Bledard, and who the hell knows what happens. I think it was actually pretty damn clever there from Muchek to get aggressive in a situation where you would just not be expecting it in Bledard's situation. Either way, Heroic Academy, they can't afford for that to be a short-lived success because they're still down 8-2. And they've already lost Muchek in middle. Bledard has been on one throughout the entirety of Dust 2. And he's going to open up round 11 for his team with a kill on the opposite team's AWP.
Oh, that's a shame for Holy as well. You can see what he's doing. He's playing an angle where as soon as he sees a pixel of a T player walking through short, he'll throw his incendiary down. The plan is not to get tagged immediately. Because it was Bledard pushing up. He'll get even more damage in this round. And now Dotto on the picked up AWP. Oh, Holy's going to get burnt out as well. It's a good kill from Dotto, but how much more can he really do? Flash is going to come flying in. He's going to be caught in the open, and they've seen both players on long, and one was already removed. It's about to be 9 on T.
Again, just depriving Heroic Academy of any momentum here in this first half. Constantly able to win the round back after Heroic Academy gets something going. It's just such short-lived successes for them. Mana have had a really rigid T side so far, so they've constantly been really good in these opening kill departments, and then they've always had really good game plans. Their trading has been on point. Everybody always on the same page as well. It is going to be 9 out of the 11 rounds going Mana's way, with 1 round left to be played in the first half. Double digits is what they're after, and it's going to be pretty likely that they get there considering the run of play so far. Can Heroic Academy find 3? And even then, such a ridiculous long road back. Pistol round a necessity, gotta convert that. Gun round gotta go their way. So many permutations. And it's Cerber to draw first blood, but at least a trade comes through to keep the numbers level.
Yeah, that's a good chained flash on long there to delay 1 extra 1 before Cerber went for that peak. But thankfully, Holy is there. But, check will be flashed off his line. Mana haven't done one of the normal common things of taking long and falling back off of it immediately once you get the opening kill and trying to reposition elsewhere to try and take some space very quickly. You continue to push up, and that might be something that catches Heroic Academy off guard here. Another flash that comes through, and as I said, it's not expecting them up so far. Bledard will take Muchek out. They're already up on the ramp. They'll trade their way in successfully to keep that man advantage. I'm afraid for Dotto, it's a Mag 7 on the retake. I'm not sure there's an upgrade even anywhere near him either, which is the issue. He's going to try and force the issue with the USP. It actually gets 1 kill. Fair play to him. But now he's all alone. And Bloodod will find Stomach as well. 10 rounds on T. What a crazy 2 maps in this series. An 11-1 and now a 10-2. Mana are not going quietly.
Both teams completely dominating their own map picks, as we have got a third map surely on the cards now after Mana have bounced back brilliantly after what had happened on Ancient. They've given Heroic Academy a bit of a taste of their own medicine. Double digits in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I mean, I said to you during map 1 that it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if Mana are able to bounce back and really show a good face on Dust 2. I was thinking more of like a close 7-5, 8-4 kind of game. This is very impressive. And now on CT, it's actually where they do most of their best work on this map. So let's see if they can close it out and send us to Mirage. That's also a map that will be very interesting between these two. Definitely lots of things up in the air there. And already Doto's been tapped out by Bledard. Zerba playing back plat on B side. Getting completely destroyed, to be fair, by a combination of Holy and Muchek. So that's the site taken.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he peeks out. I guess he feels like he's probably just going to get swarmed there. And I wouldn't really have bought much time even if he had just stayed crouched down. So yes, there wasn't really much he could have done in that situation. Heroic Academy have got a really good chance of opening up with the second half pistol. That'll help though. Holy just gets tapped out the round. Oh, no. It's a sea of blue in the kill feed, and Heroic Academy have drowned out of the pistol.
Well, I mean, Mana's logo is like a little wave or like a teardrop or something like that.
Yeah, it's in a like a little
test tube.
Yeah, there's a better word for it than that though, right?
Container?
It is one of those like scientific
Canteen?
glass. Yeah, you're getting closer. Warmer.
Let me think. There is a word for it, I know, but I can't think of it right now. But yeah, they're drowning in their own logo right now.
Potion bottle.
Yeah. Something, an apothecary? No, I can't say that word.
Apothecary, you were right there.
Apothecary table, is that right?
Like a beaker? No?
Beaker.
Beaker's more...
Maybe.
Flask.
This is where we get a DM
All
from
my
the owner
high
of-
school science terms coming back to me.
This is where we get a DM from the owner of Mana, who's like, guys, there's not anything to do with that whatsoever. You got it all wrong.
No, it definitely is. It's like a bottle of mana from like a video game, right? There's
Yeah,
mana
yeah,
in the
yeah,
bottle
I
because
know.
mana is blue. So we're close enough on that at least.
Great tag on Muchek through the door by Bledard. He's having a fantastic game. 20 kills and only 5 deaths. He's loving it.
God damn, this is gonna be like the most dominant 2 maps I've ever seen that's not a 2-0. It's like going band for band, blow for blow, back and forth. You're not gonna expect Scenario in the corner. Yeah, baited him brilliantly by his teammate. Mana 12-2 scoreline. They may actually exceed the 13-3 that we saw preceding this map, which is insane. Crazy. We started the series
Truly.
only an hour and a half ago, and we're on the brink of going to a third.
Yeah, I'm going to have maybe some time to actually eat something in between these maps, because it's gone so quickly. I've got some food ready, which I thought I wasn't going to be able to have until much later in the evening. But here we go. Doto's going to try and press the issue, and Amar could be caught out here, but he reacts very well. Nothing's going right for Heroic Academy, is it? And you can tell that they're not checked out, but they're making very individual plays here, and it's like, okay. Yeah, an amazing map 1, it's fantastic, but at 12-2 behind, just sign me up for map 3.
It does feel
We'll
that
see.
way, right?
And we'll see how we go. Anyway, let's give it a look here as this peek comes through. Should be a lot for a scenario. Only gets 1. And
Go on,
he's done a
mate.
good job. Trying to jiggle out Bledard. He's done it. Big damage, but out of bullets on that Tech 9. There's a right-click smoke available. I think hit the gun that he wanted has been blown away from him, unfortunately. I think he got blown into CT. There's nothing on the ramp anymore to collect. That M4 is not grabbable.
Oh, wow.
Great nades, though. The Incendiary makes Bledard think he's not pushing the issue whatsoever, and now Holy has an AWP to pick up.
This is a 1 versus 4 turned into a 1v1. Now, unfortunately, it's going to be the least meaningful clutch of all time. But it will still frustrate Mana. Bomb's been planted. Serber hasn't yet realized that the bomb's actually been planted on the B bomb side. Now he's going to clock it. He doesn't have a kit either, so he's going to pick one up. Not even sure if that's entirely worth it with the time that it takes off the clock. And Holy going to train on the long line with Yorp. Oh, he's missed the shot. Serber's dinked him. That starts to make things extremely interesting. Serber, you've got to run at him. You don't have time to play these games. And Holy reverts back to his good old faithful Tech 9. Serber seems to have a read on his position, but he doesn't clear it the entire way through. It's so awkward, caught with the smoke out. His entire life flashes between his eyes, and Mana have lost a 1v4.
Oh dear. As you say, it'll be a 1v4 that will be consigned to the annals of history, that won't be annals that are read all too much. But still, fair play. What is a good clutch? Serber will be upset because it's the fact that he also knew that he didn't even have the AWP drawn anymore, and he knew he hit a dink. So he must be thinking, oh, he's definitely low, without a shadow of a doubt. And usually when you're low, you play with the AWP, which is the one shot, one kill, usually.
Yeah. Would he have known he dinked him, though, at that range? I think he was spraying,
so.
right? So, yeah, it's
You'd have
50-50. Here we go. Heroic Academy now going to have a chance to try and prolong the inevitable. Horse by back for Mana. Can they match the 13-3 scoreline, or can Heroic have a better performance than what Mana had on the previous, which really wasn't that hard? It's a good way to set the round in motion. Kaylee going to swing off the back of that kill that goes down on his teammate. He gets dealt with. Heroic Academy going to hang around for a little bit longer.
See, Matt, that's how powerful Trav's lore is.
Even a 4v1 is not enough to deny the law.
Bro, it's ridiculous.
I had a
Why don't
crazy
you-
one as well the
Go
other
on.
day. Sorry to interrupt you there. It was Rebels versus... hold on, let me think now for a second. Nemesis.
Just say any old team, I'll believe you.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
Nemesis.
Rebels versus Nemesis, and it was Dust 2. It was 10-2 scoreline, okay, in favor of Rebels. Just having a quick little look-see here. I don't think there's any real chance. Amar. Yeah, he's gone down. Okay, I'm going to continue my point here, assuming that Playdar's not going to win the 1v3. Okay, so it was a 10-2 half for Rebels. They went into the CT side 10-2 up. They then go up 12-10. Okay, so it was a big fight back from Nemesis. And the game gets forced into OT. So they've only won 2 rounds on their CT side out of the 12. And then they win the first round in OT when they were impossible to close the game out in regulation. They then win the first round in OT, and they don't lose a single round in OT after that. So that for me was also like a big confirmation of Aze's lore as well.
Yeah, fair enough. The thing is, like, I know people have definitely spoken about your lore a lot. I feel like people hadn't spoke about my lore a lot. Like, that's more of a...
I've brought it up in my games without you. I've done like the TM Trav's lore coming into effect once again. Mine took a long time. I've been preaching this gospel for like 4 years now, honestly. It's not a new thing. Might even be longer. Like, back I was casting with Anthran, so it does take time.
Look, I'm being... Oh, that works. That's cheeky from Bledard. Surely they're not going to win the round here, though. Don't forget how map 1 finished, by the way. That could be something that's pretty crazy. There is a USP hiding on site, which Yogi does clear, thankfully. Otherwise, that could have provided more chaos. And look at Doto, still waiting all the way back in Suicide. Oh my goodness, he's been destroyed. Absolutely shat on. 3v3, there's no chance of winning the round, I don't think.
Nah, I mean, at this point, it's just about damage.
Matt, did you drop something?
After.
I heard you go,
No, it was my cat trying to escape. Trying to go out the window. Now, my cat does get outside time, but it's supervised because it's my girlfriend's cat that I'm cat-sitting at the moment while she's away. And so I take the cat out, but only when I'm with her. She was like, maybe if he doesn't notice, I'm just going to snake out the window. But I caught her in time. And she knows. She, like, stops while she's in the window frame, and she, like, looks at me. She's like... She knows that she's doing something she's not allowed to be. She like frees. I'm like, hey, let's mute my mic there and reprimand her. But she came back inside, so we're all good. Sorry, I did react without even thinking. Like, you're literally live right now. But anyway,
it was like something from one of those old sitcoms where like a father from like an African nation goes, can't be doing that, son. It was a classic. I love those old shows. They're so good.
Yeah, and it almost was that. Like me catching her doing something she shouldn't be. Anyway, here we go, 12-5. Can Mana finish off this game here and now, or can Heroic Academy continue to frustrate them? I wouldn't even say continue. I doubt they're frustrated yet, but maybe start to frustrate them.
Yeah, try to do what Mana couldn't on map 1, just to prolong things. Remember how that fell apart? That pretty much full eco win. Doto versus Cineri in middle. It's a battle for the ages, quite literally. But Cerberus really made a good bit of presence here in through tunnel with the Mac 10. Thing is, if he had an M4, he'd be loving it from here, but he's going to have to try and bait in Kaylee, and Kaylee's been just said, like, okay, you've died, I'm peacing out. Kind of a shame, unfortunately, because I think if he tried to peek with him, would have made a big difference. But trades are great on A for Heroic Academy, and it's a 4v2.
I mean, they just immediately look like the team we saw in Ancient share on the T side of Dust 2, with the decisions they're making, the sharpness, at least in this gun around here, the trades that come through, the confidence on display as well. It's a really good look for Heroic Academy. If only they had a few more rounds to work with, is basically the issue. Come on. Oh, spotted on the jump peak there. He's certainly got the advantage in this duel, but the longer he takes, the more support's going to arrive for Dotto. He hasn't been able to get the kill, and now he's seen 2 heads on his screen, and Dotto will be able to find the frag. So an extra rifle has now been taken out of the ranks of the CT side. What are they going to look to buy here? Could drop a gun, buy one on Cerber, 3 for 5. That's your rule normally.
I feel like Cerber will be a little bit annoyed at Kaylee there, because the whole point of that push through tunnel is to have the Mac 10 take first contact and then the AK swing and trade, and Kaylee just pieces out. I don't know. For me, I would much prefer the AK. You're 12-5 in front as well. I would much prefer the AK to be swinging there after the Mach 10 just to confirm at least one kill back. That might have made a difference to that A-site take. You never know.
I think you might be onto something there. Was some sharp shots coming through, that's for sure. And they have decided to persist with the investments here. Alien towards lowers. Doesn't look like they're anticipating this because they've got Dotto in upper dark, and then players have scaled their way up middle. There's a free frag for Kaylee. He's heard a player jumping around the middle as well, but Muchik does really well to affect the trade and deny Kaylee causing any more damage from the inside. Out-trained on a really tight angle. Bledot will step into the scope and he goes down as well.
Yeah, finally a bit of work for Muchik on the AWP. Bledot obviously 24-9, had a brilliant game the entire map. With the AWP and with everything, to be fair. But yeah, as you say, he knows that angle, playing close left on the wall in middle. Tightest pixel angle possible. Vucek playing from ramp. Holding ramp, I should say. And now Ceneri with the MP9 is pretty stuck. That molly's going to make things very difficult for him. He's done well to get one kill, but he's so damn blind and eventually gets taken out. Stomac got Amar before he actually took Ceneri out. And so that Serbo is going to try and pick up the AWP and run away, but he's already being tracked by Doto. So, another one to add to the tally.
There's no world in which they win this map. I refuse to even entertain that idea for a second. I know they've already won 5 rounds here, and they need 5 more, but Mana are going to be able to trip over the finish line. I mean, Bledot has been so good, he's up to 24 kills, although it's a lot more of a top-heavy performance compared to what we got out of Heroic Academy with their success on Ancient. So if they can, like, shut Bledot down, then maybe, but honestly, you imagine that there's just going to be a moment here where you get, like, a 2k that goes unresponded, and then you've got to try win a 3v5. Surely no world in which Heroic Academy could actually force us into overtime.
Yeah, and joking aside, like, you know, we'll make some jokes about this in the future as well, I'm sure, but like 2 maps like this, very hard to cast in general, because there have been absolute stomps and only some very minor fake comebacks at the end. Maybe this won't be a fake comeback, you never know, but it hasn't, you know, been a whole lot that's been giga exciting, I can't lie.
Yeah,
before was pretty cool. But,
I know,
you know,
outside of that, it has just been complete stomps. Right? Like, literally, as dominant as it gets, really. I guess in the first map, it was cool to see Heroic Academy on the T side with how they went about
that was
their
good.
games. It's got to be a positive there as well, I reckon. But it hasn't been, like, a highly entertaining game from a competitive standpoint whatsoever yet.
Good nade on toward Yogi. That's going to be a bit of pressure, and he kind of felt like he was not aware of that at all. If Serba gets 1 here, it could be 2, because the spacing isn't great. The Eagle's going to be in play, and that's exactly what Mr. Stott got right.
Cheers, yeah. I mean, honestly, just some good shots being landed, round into disarray. Heroic Academy just wheel spin out of control. And it's well done from Mana. They were always destined to win on Dust 2, and it's exactly what they've done to force a decider.
Yeah, they have indeed, and I'm very glad they have, because you know, Mana were better than what they showed on map 1. As I said, having seen them play once before, I knew what they're capable of. Amar's pretty talented. Bledot on the AWP is much better than what he showed on map 1, and thankfully he did exactly what I wanted to see from him. I mean, dropping, what was it, 25 and 10 or something crazy
something
like
that, yeah.
That's exactly what I want from him. So let's see what map 3 will be like in about 10 minutes' time. We do have a map 3 between Mana and Heroic Academy. It's a map where we've seen Heroic Academy do some really good work on lately. It'll be M80 on land to close that series out with what was a very good T-side as well. It's not even their favourite map, so even though these two teams have really good reps on it, 21 for Mana and 15 for Heroic Academy in the last 3 months, I think this one is completely up in the air.
It's really actually difficult to predict where this one's going to go from here, and I think Mirage is going to be a lot of fun to settle the score between these two teams. You've got the 3 puggiest maps in this map pool as well, from Ancient into Dust into Mirage. I feel like Mirage is like almost a combination of the two, probably plays a little bit more similarly to Ancient than it does Dust. And we saw a little bit of like an upward tick from Heroic Academy at the end of D2, which maybe does also just perk them up a little bit. They're not as flat as what Mana would have been going into Dust. Obviously, not that proved to be any problem for Mana whatsoever. So, yeah, honestly, this one feels like it's completely open-ended going into the decider. And it's a really important series, Trav. I mean, this is the lower bracket, right? Loser of this is eliminated from Cup 3. The point I wanted to make earlier that I actually didn't get around to is this must be like the most open-ended EU Cup of all the EU Cups so far. I mean, the highest ranked team is 81, and then it's almost like just teams outside of the top 100, outside of Quentry. So, okay, you've got Loveked at 98, but still, point is that this one could be won by a lot of different teams to get into the EU finals later on.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one, right? Because unfortunately, we know that ESL Challenger League, I don't think anyone would maybe, hold this against me for saying this, it's gone through many, many different format changes over the last, 3 or 4 years. And especially in the modern VRS era, it's a question of what format really gets people enticed into playing it. And unfortunately, for some teams, I think a great example is K27. It's a minefield playing it online when you're playing against some lower teams that are lower ranked than you, teams that are working their way up, like Namiga, for example. I think who beat them in an ESL Cup, ECL Cup, if I remember recently. I think for me, it's going to be curious to see how they're going to change it in the future, because it's too much of a VRS minefield, and one loss can really hurt you. Not if you're, obviously, for K27, they're in major contention, but for these teams, there's a reason they're all playing these tournaments, is because they want to try and get that incredible opportunity to play ESL Pro League. For a lower ranked team, that's the incredible goal, especially if you're coming from the ESEA leagues, right? But for higher ranked teams, that's probably why we haven't seen the sign-up field that maybe we'd want to see.
Like you said, if you're a top 50 team, for example, coming into this playing field, and you lose one best of 3 anywhere in and amongst the games, you'll lose more points than even if you had won like 3 or 4 series preceding that one, because you're barely winning any points for those games against teams that are outside of the top 100. So you're bang on there that it's a massive risk, and the reward is not that great considering how long the bracket is to even actually win one of these cups, then get into the finals, right? It's a very risky endeavor indeed.
Yeah, it's like a qualifier for a qualifier for a qualifier, isn't it? In a way. And yeah, I think having the opportunity to play ESL Pro League for some of these teams, incredible, right? I mean, if we look at the 2 cups that have already gone down before, from Cup 1 and Cup 2. Cup 2, of course, was pretty, I think had a slightly better field overall. Namiga won that one. They made the Europe finals. And if you look at Namiga's team at the moment, they're really on the up, with Sypho coming in from Spirit Academy, and with Leah coming back as in-game leader, and Chiron, of course, as well. It's a great team. So, I think right now, if you were to look at the 2 cups that have been played out, I would argue that the favourites to make it through to Pro League from the regional final in EU, we put Namiga next to TDK, I would say that TDK are probably on better form Namiga are probably on better form right now.
Yeah.
And it's 2 great teams to have there. But, Namiga, they'll be thinking to themselves, oh my goodness, this is a wonderful opportunity to get back to a Pro League again, like they have been there in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the team that's going to qualify from Cup 3, and like we've kind of highlighted, it's going to be a team that are far below Namiga's level. TDK, definitely below Namiga's level. And then there's only 1 cup left remaining, Cup 4. I mean, Namiga definitely wouldn't want to be playing in that cup, considering the risk of what that would run for them, as what we've just highlighted. Do we have the invite list for Cup 4 already? It would just be interesting to see.
Not sure. I don't think so. Usually it's released after the previous cup ends.
All right.
But there's a chance it is already there, because you already know a couple of teams that are going to be there, right? Like Quentry are definitely going to be there from ESEA League, and that TNT team as well.
Yeah, true. Either way, here we go. The decider is live. Heroic Academy starting off on the CT side here. This game has been dominated by T-side so far, right? I mean, we had an 11-1 at halftime scoreline at the back of the T-side on Ancient, a 10-2 T-side scoreline. So very few rounds being won by the defensive halves so far here. Heroic Academy going to be hoping to buck that trend on the decider.
Yep, let's see. Let's see if I can go a whole map without a siren going past my house.
Oh, odds on probably not, mate, to be honest. Being a Saturday night and all.
Oh, well, true, good point. It probably might be an ambulance, low-key. I mean, I don't look outside to find the answer to those ones, I'm afraid.
Blue or red?
Will either one of these teams need an ambulance at the end of the series, or is it not for them?
We'll find out here in the pistol. Mana have managed to get themselves a bomb plant, but they are down by a man. No kit in play for the CT side. It's a time of the essence. They have got a player making their way through apartments. That's Dotto. And he could get sidelined here. Oh, it's Amar. The brilliant double, and then even gets traded out. So he's effective in 3 of the 4 kills required. Brilliantly done there by Manners. Heroic Academy, as soon as they look to try and kickstart the retake, they just get demolished.
Yeah, I have seen some actually really good individual work from Amar on this map recently. And, you know, I think if you look at their results, you might say, okay, it doesn't really get them many wins, but, yeah, I've been relatively impressed, even though they only have that one win over Rustek in ECL this season.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from him as well in the previous, yeah.
It was kind of been a rough run for Mana on this map in particular. They've lost 13-8, 13-7, 13-3, 13-9, 13-10 to TLR, Amiga, X-Ruby, CS Dillit, the Finnish team, and Johnny Speeds. They're going to try and change their fortunes here, and they will be gifted their second round, as it's a full eco for Heroic Academy on this occasion.
I just ran the numbers, by the way, to substantiate the point I was making about how much this game has been dominated by T-sides. We have had... I just added up the numbers, but I've already forgotten what it was. Okay, hold on. 16 plus 20. Okay, we've had 36 rounds played, which means there's been 36 CT rounds played, obviously. We've only had a total of 8 out of the 36 rounds that have been played won by the CT side. And now,
wow,
it's going to be 8 out of 38, including these 2 here as well.
I guess that's what you can get sometimes when you have 2 relatively dominant maps, right? These sort of stats can be skewed depending on what side these teams start on as well. It's a good point. Good job from Server. Almost died to Doto, but I managed to survive the anti-eco with 3 alive.
At least a couple of kills for Heroic Academy in their full eco, but no real cause for concern as we get into the first gun round. So where Mana are going to hope to try and keep up the trend of dominant T-sides and put Heroic Academy on the back foot early on. Had a 10-2 half in the first map, excuse me, an 11-1 half in the first map, a 10-2 half in the second. Surely, this is going to be the most competitive of the halves so far. Muchek looking to try and battle into mid, but he's going to be forced back into com by the molly. Heroic Academy keen to contest middle initially, but by virtue of good util usage, Mana will ascertain control.
Oh, they're going to overlook Holy in the corner because the first kill came through to a Muchek very quickly, but very sharp trades from Mana. They've done well, and those trades should be enough to get their bomb plant on. Oh, I say that. Bomb was actually stuck in con. They didn't pick it up when they ran up, so it's taken a lot of time to grab that, and it's allowed Stomac and Yogi to both take over towards CT. I mean, there's a con player in position. The nade is not going to go anywhere near that bomb planter, unfortunately. The second one will manage to chip Scenario a little bit. But now those nades have done nothing. Like they're already considering the fallback.
And that is going to be Mana then, keeping things flawless. Like you say, this round lives and dies with the battle in Connector. So we name this round. It's a historic battle. 5 players dying in and around Con, but mana trading favorably gives them the advantage and then able to connect the dots over on that A bomb site. Heroic Academy surviving with 2 probably means an investment in the next, but they'll still be without an AWP. Saw Muchek doing some decent things with the AWP over on Dust 2, especially in that second half where he started getting going, but it's not going to be present for him here in this one. I say they probably will buy. I mean, I'm wondering, maybe not. Stomac and Yogi could drop, but lights on utility might be worth just half buying here and then getting the gun round going in the next.
Well, there's your answer. Not bad.
Yeah, not half. It feels like Dotto was a little bit exploited in that previous map as well over on the B-bomb side, and I wonder if they're going to look to try and do something similar here with him being the A anchor on Mirage.
Yeah, possibly. But that's why they're going to need some of their other individuals to step up and help out. And that's a great start for Muchek. We do apologise if we've been butchering that pronunciation throughout the entire series. 1 HP. Get that opening kill on Kaylee. And immediately off the back of that, man decide, let's group up together and let's go for a good old-fashioned A-take. See if they are going to try and put pressure on Doto, who's going to be rotating in from jungle. Muchek has put himself in firebox with that 1 HP M4. Any bullet anywhere should remove him if they clear it properly. Often teams do put a few bullets through the firebox to make sure they clear it. But he might be able to creep out now while that bomb is being planted. Might be able to take a gamble, but he hasn't been able to deny the plant. Doesn't matter, I don't think. He still found 2 kills. 2 kills on 1 HP. Incredible job. Still all 5 players alive at the moment for Heroic Academy, and the tap on the bomb will continue to lure mana forward. And Nade will finish it off. And another kill from Muchek to add to the tally. Incredibly, he's found 3 of his 4 kills on 1 point of health.
And loves to tell the tale. I mean, he plays it so nicely considering how low he is on health there to really give himself the best chance of actually finding something from the round. That's insane work coming through from Muchek. Really impressive stuff there. Activating at the perfect moment. Heroic Academy on the board. Mana with the bomb plant and a couple players surviving in the rounds they were winning as well will be able to afford a reinvestment. Yeah, and I think it was a good option for them to just revert to the A exec, but just the massive oversight there costs them huge.
Yeah, as I say, like, so often, even if a player is full HP, you'll see some T players just putting a few bullets to the corner of firebox to make sure it's clear. An instant headshot will very often take the kill in that scenario. So Neri will try and fall away from middle. They have managed to grab a 4v3, and they've managed to drop down to the big bomb site already as well with Amar. He's got bench control already. We smoke on short. Dotto's now going to move forward. Hoping to catch one player, not expecting him in that corner, but timing is really awkward here. Kaylee's not looking at him, but Doto got to be worried about bench. Now he's shown his hand. How does he really put the pressure on from here? HE is good, and actually the timing he's managed to delay has allowed Yogi to get into position. He'll get himself his 1 kill, then Doto will go down eventually. Holy there to trade immediately, and all of a sudden, 1v1. Amart versus Holy, and Holy will reposition to default, and it does win Heroic Academy in the second round. No immediate fall down. They'll keep themselves going.
Yeah, it's a brilliant reposition coming through from him there. It's a really quick decision that he's made, which has absolutely made the difference then. It's caught his opponent completely off guard. So really solid work coming through there from Holy. I mean, that was a war being waged on the B bomb site, and it was all about who could keep their composure and keep the comms clear with how much there was going on there, how many players were on the scene. And it's going to be Heroic Academy who prevail. So, Trav, we're finally going to get a competitive first half here between these two teams.
You say that, watch it be like a 8-4 still, or a 9-3.
I mean, still more competitive than what it was, relatively speaking. I'll take that at this point.
Look, I can't lie, you are right. You are technically right. Actually.
Yep, I was pushing my glasses up my nose while I was saying it as well, mate.
There you go.
Benefit of having glasses.
I'm wearing my glasses right now as well.
Twinsies.
That makes you 10% smarter and have 20 more IQ points. Did you know that?
Exactly. And everyone even thinks you're the IGL as well. It's insane, man. People are like, you must have done really well at school. Why do you think that? You wear glasses.
Never been to school, by the way.
Well, I mean, but
The world is our
your
classroom.
education. Exactly, that's true. Learning something new every day. Heroic Academy. Not much to learn from this round, really. Just about things nice and tight. One frag in the round for Bledard, and one for Kaylee. Problem is, the bomb's been dropped in apartments, so this is all superficial.
Yep, and cleaned up by Doto. So we'll make sure to get that 3-3 scoreline they wanted. A little bit messy on the site holds there. They didn't really play a proper crossfire at any point. They kind of just played individually. That caught them off to have 2 players fall. No worries. Doto will throw all the flashes in middle to try and help out a bit of a peak for Muchek.
Momentum behind Heroic Academy. Mana have certainly made taking mid control a big theme of their T side so far. Heroic Academy happy to kind of give it up without much of a contest. Options available here for Mana. Last time we saw them with this, they went with 3 players, or try to go with 3 players through connector. But this time, Heroic Academy not going to be taking the same sort of duels.
Doto's in a very tough position. More often than not, you get completely pre-fired playing default. You're having to watch Palace, especially when you're being rounded on from the stairs, and yeah, there's no way out. And then maybe an example of what you were talking about earlier, them realizing Doto plays A and trying to exploit it. A pretty good kill. There's a ramp flank from Stomach, though, that they have to worry about, and that does bring it back into the 3v3, and the bomb's not planted, by the way. Great angle, too. Playing that headshot position, right crouched on the corner of the stairs. He's able to find Cerber as well. 2v2, Vucek and Stomach together, but now only Stomach. It's very hard to win this when you're so damn low, and Kaylee will manage to swing to complete it. So, nice try on that recovery, but is Mana to take the 4-3 lead.
Yeah, as soon as the fights start rolling on in, cleaned up by Mana. And it's something we highlighted in the pre-game, is that the rifling core of this team are extremely strong. Now, it's not what we saw kind of getting them across the line on Dust, but it's certainly been the main contributing factor to their success on the T side so far. We saw it in that one round where they traded their way up Connect, and here in this round as well. Riflers doing the damage to get Mana up to 4 and put Heroic Academy on the back foot. Got the 5-7 as the one handicap weapon, a bit light on neutral, and a chance here for Mana to make the 6-3.
A slight delay before they make their move in the beginning of the round. They'll take top mid eventually and then go for the lineup smokes for window. Boost for Stomach on top of the short bricks. That could work out well for 1, and he might be able to fall down 2. That's possible. There we go. Exactly as planned. Kaylee caught. Life retained.
Yeah, again, Amar. He has been so dominant here on Mirage so far with really important kills. They set their sights in on the speed bomb sites. When they've gone middle, it's normally been a split onto A. If they haven't gone mid, it's normally numbers grouped up in apartments and then pushing into the speed bomb site. Yogi, had a chance there of getting ahead for free. He will take the attention away from Catwalk. Stomac does a brilliant job of finding both those kills. The only man on the money here so far in the round, but he's been naded out. Cerber's going to commit to the plants, and he's got his teammate to cover the cross here, but he's worried about the path through Market Door. 20 seconds, not a whole lot of time to work with, but Amar has taken Doto down, And that means we could see a safe plant. It's a brilliant flash, but Serber gets blinded up by the flash as well. This time he will commit to the bomb plant. Incendiary might find the frag on the planter. It does indeed. Plant still found in the process, and Amar to seal the fate of the round. Sorry, I cut out of the round, yeah.
I wonder if... I mean, he swung with the USP there at the very end. I reckon he doesn't swing as aggressively here if he realizes that Incendiary is actually getting that kill. And he realizes that he's going to be in a 1v1. I reckon he plays a much longer game there in that final duel in the round. If that Incendiary kill comes through like a second sooner and he doesn't swing with the USP. I reckon that's an alternate universe that would have played out in that round. But not to be. And now he's down to very low HP in the following round. There's Muchek. There's multiple SMGs where that came from, but Mana are doing a very good job of getting a couple of kills when they're being swarmed. Doto is being baited in under balcony. They've already killed kind of a couple of players there. Why would they look at Doto? Okay, he does give it a cursory glance though, just pure muscle memory, and it helps out the trade. Leonard will find Yogi, and that is a 6-3. It should be 7.
Yeah, that's a blistering round coming through from Mana. They've generally been pretty calculated in their approach so far here on this T site. This time it's just caution to the wind, brute force on this A bomb site, and able to deal with Heroic Academy. Even though Heroic Academy had a pretty good read on the situation, I had their numbers leaning in towards the correct side of the map. It does not matter. Like you say, 7-3, about to take center stage. And Trav, you might have been onto something when you said, yeah, mate, it might be the closest half so far, but it could still be a dominant one. If this ends 9-3, it certainly would be billed as that. However, Dotto has hit a good 1 dig to maybe give Heroic Academy a chance here in the eco.
Oh, Machek wasn't cleared properly, but Amar will react well. Actually could be a pretty important kill in the scale of things, considering Bledard was already down, as you mentioned. Really from CT, waiting for the swing from ramp. He's got Palace to watch as well, but Doto's very, very quick on this flank. He's made quite a lot of noise. Will he be heard too late? But now it's so difficult with the Deagle to kill players from behind on these sort of timings. How is he going to be able to do it? It's a coach stand-in after all. Take your time, Doto. There's one. That's fine. That's one bomb on the floor, but he's going to get completely swarmed upon. Unfortunately, so are Mana. Now it's Serber about to get caught by the P2000 from Palace. Oh my goodness, it will be a close half, I think.
Yeah, well, off the back of that one, almost certainly, right? Because Mana, it's now like decision-making time. Do they half-buy? Do they full-buy? That one just gets out of control. Every time it feels like they're getting some sort of semblance of control, they just have a player pop up out of nowhere. And it starts over at ramp this time, and then you have the guy in Palace who's able to finish off the job here. Just so many surprise factors for Heroic Academy. The numbers stacked up on A makes the difference.
So we'll start the round this time. Serber tries to force the issue out ramp, and that was a bit of an individual play there that didn't go well.
Surprised they've opted to force buy Trav. I thought that the half buy would have been a better option, but what do I know when Amar's in this sort of form? That's a brilliant multi coming through there from Amar to give his team a chance. Stomac and Ladder Room will best Bledard. Kaylee and Scenari now to try and save the situation, otherwise it's almost a guaranteed 6-all.
Yeah, it was actually really obvious for Mana that Stomach could be in ladder and could be peeking them. I'm surprised they went for that boosting window so quickly. They're trying to slip the gap and maybe get through Murder Hole before Stomach would have seen them, but just couldn't get that timing. It was a very, very thin opening. We smoke top con. That will allow Scenari to have a bit more space to work with, but Muchek still got the line in toward the apartments. Not anymore, he doesn't. Oh, Kaylee, what a shot. And now Stomach from ladder. Might just be able to deny the plant here, though. Fake on it to begin with. Just about creeps behind default, but doesn't complete the creep into a safe position. Stomach will get the kill. Now Scenari is scrambling. He knows there's a player short. Doesn't know where Doto is just yet, but he's coming in to help from ladder as well. He's pretty near each other. He's going to look away at exactly the wrong time. Great round from Stomach. 4 kills. That is a quadra he will love.
Yeah, honestly, Starmac was the chief destroyer on Ancient, right? He was insane on that map, and he's gotten going now in a big way in these past few rounds on Ancient. On Mirage, to really push his team over the edge, weathering a big storm. Heroic draw within one, just gonna have to contain the Tech-9s for a tied-up scoreline. This is a big exec. Only Yogi in on this B-bomb site, and
wow.
He is Yogon. And it's gonna be Servant towards top mid, who has been taken down, and a lot of chip damage has been done, so the retake is absolutely on.
4v3, big dink on Holy, that could make a big difference, but he does still find a kill on Bled, and now it should be way too much. There's no way they can hold on. So was trying to throw a grenade, but he won't even be allowed to get it thrown where he wanted it. It will blow up at the feet of his own body. It will be a good recovery on the half from Heroic Academy. Funny game so far. We've had two very dominant early halves, an 11-1 and a 10-2. Now we're locks together at 6-6. Who wins the game? Find out in a few minutes. Honours even in this final game of the day. Of course, we've got maybe a few regions to come, but it's the final map of the EU region of ECL Season 51 today. And Heroic Academy and Mana are no closer to finding out who is going to beat each other. It's been a pretty entertaining series so far. It's been obviously, as I mentioned earlier, maybe a little bit hard to cast, considering we've had two blowouts with a couple of fake comebacks, really. But there have been a couple of big moments, a couple of big clutches, and now they are honours even, and there's no way of choosing who's going to win the game from here. You can look at all the numbers you want. It's all down to one half of CS.
Yeah, it's actually been a super entertaining map so far, with some unlikely rounds, with some really impressive moments, some good individual levels on display, elimination on the line. What is the second half has in store for us? Heroic Academy have looked extremely good on their T side so far. They were really impressive on the T side of Ancients, and then I know they didn't play many rounds on the T side of Dust, but it did look like there was a glimpse of them getting into a groove until they lost that life buy. So let's see what they're going to have here on the decider.
So there he already sees one player charging his way forward. But, oh, I was about to say Kaylee's not being cleared, but Holy gave it a look, and there is no frags for Kaylee in this pistol round. Seba will get run over by Doto. Yogi finds Bledard. Just like that, 4v2. Amar's on the angle in CT, though. He's going to have help in a second as well, and they're overfighting a little bit here, Heroic Academy. Amar gets 2 headshots immediately, and now suddenly 2v2.
Oh
very aggressive.
God.
And Stomach is now in a 1v2. Had a great game so far, but that bomb is being defused in front of him. And Amar is going to pretty much do it all. He went like 25 and 10 or something ridiculous on map 2. He's now going 20 and 9.
He was also the one sticking the defuse there. Gets off the defuse. Says enough of the shenanigans. That little, oh, okay, you two guys having a duel there, are you? I'm just going to end this. Stop the defuse. Instantly lands a headshot, then gets back on it. Amar has been the best player on the server. I mean, Stomac not far behind him. 2 of them are the only players up to double digits, and Amar's up to 20. That should never have been Mana's pistol round.
I will correct myself. I got a bit excited. It was Bledard who played really well map 2. It wasn't Amar.
Okay.
Now
Amar did have moments, though, as well, right? I mean, like...
He did.
In middle, there was that, like, one really important multi-kill from him in that situation where he recovered that he was the high health player, that, like, quad kill in that round. So, you weren't wrong, to be fair.
Yeah, Bledard put in a 2.21 rating with a 26-9 KD on map 2. And now he's showing us a little bit more about what that's all about. Holds on well from jungle. Seba does get run over by the Mac 10 though. Gotta go fast. And now, I was going to try and do more work. I mentioned that I've seen him play well on Mirage. Definitely doing that again here. And he's set up by the flash from Seneri beautifully. 2 more kills to add to the tally. And Kaylee will stop Yogi. So... 4 players alive, sure, the goal of the round is complete for Heroic Academy with that plant, but it's still a mana round.
Yeah, really well done from them to actually shut the play down. Heroic Academy trying to play with pace and vigor into the safe bomb site, and they'd gotten a decent amount of space, but as soon as Mana looked to retake control, they have no issues whatsoever. Heroic Academy did get the bomb down there, so... Can afford to spend a little bit money, but they don't want to overspend. They should have won the pistol trap. It was right there for the taking in the 4v2. It got away from them without getting a single kill. Now, a light investment means Mana have a really good chance of going up 9-6.
Oh, sit down. Bledard goes for what is a pretty normal peek into the back of apartments, but he's not ready for Stomach being so far forward and just strafe swinging with that Deeg. That strafe swing was glorious. He's after 17 kills and 9 deaths, but it's looking to be a bit of a challenge to win this round. Holy will hit another one though. And they need to try and remove Amar from Sandwich. Only a few bullets left. Oh, it's awkward. Pistol drawn, and Yogi will run him down. It's going to have to be Kaylee. Stomach is still lurking in under, and that could be awkward for Seneri too. They've actually completely left the A-bomb site.
Yeah, Seneri's in position though. They might not expect him to be here, where he's actually going to get to hear these footsteps if they don't start to walk once they get close. If they just assume that Mana have completely committed to the rotations, then they could run into trouble, but they're not going to run into the bomb site. In fact, I was wondering if they'd reroute back through Lowe's to join up with Stomac, but instead it's going to be Stomac to try and flank his way through snipers into this B bomb site. Mana have read into this though. Haley spots Stomac, but only just enough to actually watch his perpetrator destroy him. Seneri could save the day. He does a lot of damage to Dotto. He finds the frag on Yogi. Dotto has an AWP. Seneri completely blind. Will be able to hug the wall. Frag found on Dotto. Stomac dealt with this well, and Seneri will rob Heroic Academy at the death.
Oh, that is a painful one for Heroic Academy. Sure, you look at it and say, great eco, guys. But when you're in that situation, if you lose the round, you'll be feeling it and you'll be frustrated. Incredible shots hit in the entire round by Stomac in particular. Look at that one. Seneri, with all that experience, with great timing and the health advantage, didn't lose a lick. 9-6 it will be in the end. Could have been the 8-7.
what could have been in the pistol and what could have been in the eco has resulted in nothing here for Heroic Academy, as they're now just 4 rounds away from being eliminated from ECL Season 51 Cup 3. This is the gun round that's got to work for them, Travel. It feels like they're hanging on by a thread at that point. They've been really good in their gun rounds on the T side so far. I got to give them that credit. Can they realize that form here once again?
Mary. Oh, that's an annoying one. Holy will catch him. I mean, that follow-up grenade doesn't actually take him down. 10 HP to spare in the end. Zerba will manage to find Doto nicely. Does recover it into the 4v4. Stomach boosted on the ledge near window. He can activate kind of at any point if he wants to, but obviously be wary of a jungle player just holding for that possibility. Amar 23 and 10, repositioning over toward B, where Heroic Academy are posturing. We check Holy and Yogi going together with that lurk from Sumac bottom con still in play. Amar now is waiting for that possibility. He knows that window is exposed. That's why he's watching it right now, even though a B player is coming through. And Bledard from short is doing a great work. Amar goes unchecked. Yogi will get the kill. Sumac now needs to activate, and he will. Goes back for another kill in toward jungle, and actually gets it. And now it's very awkward because Amar's running down Holy. The bomb is on the site. There's 3 seconds left in the round. Sumac now realizes he needs to try and save, but he can't save. Amar will hold him off. 26 now.
This really does feel like Stomac versus Amar. I mean, Stomac is doing his damnedest right now, but he's just really struggling to get meaningful contributions from his teammates. Was looking decent here off the back of the opening kill, and then the pressure that starts to build in on the B bomb site, but Mana do not flounder, and time was certainly an added pressure to Heroic Academy in the round. They're going to persist with the investments here, Trav. Galil's AK, Util as well, but Mana go 4 for 4 on their CT side.
Oh, now they're only 3 rounds away from keeping themselves alive here. Now, I'm pretty excited for them because, as you say, I mean, with no bad news Eagles anymore, with Flatro and Synopsy kind of occupying themselves elsewhere, GXX not looking too great. This is a team that would be great to see continue to climb the ranks for Kosovian CS.
True. I mean, they're not the only team, right? There's that team with Gamezilla as well. What's their name? Mix. They're playing at a Mix KS at the moment. Another Kosovan Counter-Strike roster.
Yeah.
That's with Dementa, another name that we would remember. And then
him.
View, Trippy, and Lewis. Less recognizable names, but Dementa and Gejamzilla, definitely names we've seen for a long time. Anyway, I've been glossing over this round because Heroic Academy have been shut down again, trying to venture through middle. Mana kind of gave up the space and then pulled the trigger on battling back for control. Ledard found the first with the Yorp. It's only Stomac left again.
Shot.
Yeah, problem is 20 seconds.
Yeah, not feeling too confident now, and that smoke is an extra layer of protection for Mana. Bomb is not going to be retrieved, and once again his goal is to save, and I think he'll be allowed to do so on this occasion. He's continuing to face, but he's going to be fine. Orp will be kept over. But the problem is they're now 5 behind, and Mana are only 2 away.
5 out of 5 now on the CT side. When Amar pulls the trigger, Amar gets kills. It's as simple as that. He is now up to, what, 28? Yeah. 28 kills. It's getting a bit excessive, Amar. Do you want to cool off a little bit there, man? We get it. You're really good at the game. Proved your point. You let the rest of your team have some fun. Another opening kill out of the Orb. Bledard searching in towards mid this time. Check obviously has his AWP that was saved by Stomac, and he will put it to use to cancel Bledard's opening kill out. Haley goes one back though to restore that man advantage, and this is where Serba might go unchecked, and he got Amar hiding in towards Firebox as well. You actually want Kaylee to fight this. Serber will activate from Sandwich, and he's eaten the two of them up. Revenge of the Sandwich, Trav. Finally gets its own back.
Uchek will get himself the one, but it's only one on the exit. Mana have kind of, in the end, destroyed Heroic Academy. It was a 6-6 half, remember? We finally had a close half in this series, and it's been completely deleted.
Yeah, that's a brilliant round coming through from Serbo, who hasn't had a whole lot to do throughout the map so far. Ask for Amar to share the spoil, so he literally just goes and hides behind Firebox. He says, you know what, Hayes? Fair enough, mate. I'm going to let my homies actually get a share of the spoils. And the Mana players eat good. Oh, Bledard, you've missed the nade there, I'm afraid. Barely broken the smoke and done 27 damage to himself.
Let's see if they can close out the game first time of asking for once, though. That is the big question.
Every rule has an exception. Let's see if this will be the one.
Yep. I have a feeling. I have a little feeling.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's not gonna happen today. Amar, 28 and 11. Beautiful performance. I mean, that's might be one of his best HLTV ratings in his short career on this team, anyway. Utility now being chucked in from Yogi. Serber in Sandwich. Is he going to be burnt? He will be burnt. And that could be the chance to pincer. And now they know he's there. Holy and Stomach should be able to remove him. Serber's been able to move away, though, actually. That's not bad. And a peek from CT could work out, but it's a big whiff from Soneri. Serber's going to need to get a multi-kill. He only gets a one. Now Bloodhound's turn. Great quick scope on Stomach. 1v1 against Coach stand-in. Doto. Shot missed. 1v1 standoff for the game. Doto's trying to swing, but Doto will get removed. Great game from Bledard. Incredible map 2. Solid map 3, but it was Amar the star. And Mana will stay alive in Cup 3.
Yeah, if you halved the 1M, you could almost spell Mana from his name. Anyway, that's a brilliant display coming through there from Mana and the Bledard clutch to finish the job off. I mean, you really activated in a big way in the second half, right? He was outstanding on Dust and then the CT side of Mirage. Plenty opening kills and then a 1v3 to seal the fate. And Heroic Academy are going to be so frustrated that after such a dominant and super convincing performance on the first map, they only won, what, like another... Was it 13-7 at the end of Dust? I guess they won another 13 rounds across the next two maps, but still, they got dominated in the first half of Dust. They got destroyed here on Mirage after a pretty competitive first half, and that'll be a pretty rough way for them to exit the competition, I think.
Yeah, that hurts for sure, because of course they would have come off some of these recent smaller events they played around the world on LAN and thought, okay, we've really got a level to compete at the moment. Sure, they have been playing with Doto throughout their entire Challenger League run so far. I think that's down to like a roster lock of some sort. I mean, as I said, they've been playing with that guy called Hadina at that Rogue Journey LAN. That's what got them the win over M80 in 2 maps as well, in a clean 2-0. So maybe that's the difference maker at the end of the day. We did think Mana would be the stronger of the two teams today, mainly because of that, and they proved to look that strong, and we thought we could have a possibility of that Academy team matchup in that lower bracket, Heroic versus G2, but in the end, Unity won that one as well, so it is going to be a clean-up, and it will be Mana versus Unity in that lower bracket to keep themselves alive, keep themselves grinding in Cup 3.
Yeah, I actually don't even know who I'd have as the favourite, because when Mana look good, yeah, they look really good, and I actually kind of like that Unity roster as well. I think there's a lot of potential within that team, so I think that'll be quite an entertaining game. Just players against Young Gods going into its side, and then Kazar against Elite Energy. They emphasize the lit with caps in their name, so I'll call it that name. But I like the highlighted Trav, and we can bring the upper bracket now as well, just to show everyone what's happening on that side of the bracket. This feels super open-ended. I mean, sure, Johnny Speeds, I'll include Ent Academy now, actually the Ent's main team as of recently as well, and Quentry as my 3 main favorites. Now, obviously, I've just picked like 3 teams from the upper bracket, but they're definitely the favorites, right? In ECL Cup 3 to get the job.
Yeah, I think Quentry, Johnny Speeds, if that's not the grand final, I will be a little bit surprised, because they have definitely something extra. Quentry have that mixture of young talent with 8s and slacks jazz, and then the experience of face crack, and Johnny Speeds have all the experience in the world, obviously on that team with Freiburg and as coach, and Lekra on the team too. So yeah, that would definitely be who I'd pick. But for now, that is probably going to be it for us today in EU. Don't forget to stay in touch though, and give us a follow on Twitter. Make sure to stay watching the broadcast as well, because I think other regions will be played out tonight. So it's always got some fun and games on the ECL streams over the course of a day. For now though, for us two, we'll say goodnight and enjoy your evening. Beginning of the round, we're going to do it like that exact point. Bomb goes first, which gives Scenario the opportunity to drop Doto to the floor with that bomb, but Stomac. See you later, Bledard. There goes Amar. 2v4. There are some low HPs into play here, and that is a missed shot coming through, but there's a flank to worry about. Okay. It's down to Muchek, he'll miss his shot. So they get Holy will peek forward with the NP7. That's a good opening kill. But Amar will get 2 with the Tech 9. A little bit left to say here. Hang on, Muchek's peeking out from the side though. It's going to be too easy to get 2 kills. Not easy for Stomach though. There we go, Bledard. They won a clutch.
Spotifus, it's a lot of valuable intel here for Mana. They're actually going to hang around to take the fights being offered up here by the CT side. Brilliantly done by Katie. He's the one who's found all the kills in the round. Eventually, those Reign of Terrors brought to an end. Stomac, that's so brave. This is going to be like most dominant 2 maps I've ever seen that's not a 2-0. It's like going band for band, blow for blow, back and forth. You're not going to expect Scenario in the corner.
The timings, how's he going to be able to do it? It's a coach stand-in after all. Take your time, Doto. There's 1, that's 5. There's 1 bomb on the floor, but he's going to get completely swarmed upon, unfortunately. So our Mana. Now it's Serba about to get caught by the P2000 from Palace.
Betrayed to destroy him. Scenari could save the day. He does a lot of damage to Dotto. He finds the frag on Yogi. Dotto has an AWP. Scenari completely blind. Will be able to hug the wall. Frag found on Dotto. Stomac dealt with as well, and Scenari will rob Heroic Academy at the death.
Able to move away though, actually. That's not bad. And a peek from CT could work out, but it's a big whiff from Scenari. Serba's going to need to get a multi-kill. He only gets a 1. Now Bledard's turn. 1v1 standoff for the game. Dotto's trying to swing, but